Okay. Hi everybody. We're live. I just literally right before we went live, I asked Jason, okay, should we do the show? And his exact response was, I guess.
You
So
betrayer, you. I'm pumped and excited.
we're
This is
here,
the
we're
one time that we
enthusiastic.
get to interact with the people who like the show.
That's right. Hi Dana. Dana's here too.
All three
Hello.
of them. There's Dana. Dana's usually in the as a moderator, but not this time.
Nope. We're all dogpiling Steve this time.
Yeah, so now's your chance to ask any questions that you have, regardless of the show. Yes, I'll just get it over with now. Our time with DS9 is going to close out the show. I'm not going to continue it further. My goal was to outlast fucking goddamn Discovery, and we're going to do it this.
Hey, and while people are putting questions in the chat, I have a few
Mhm.
questions to start us off with that I got a message from one of my patrons.
Cool.
One of your
So-
patrons.
Yes, not so. This is someone who specifically gives me money, doesn't give
Okay.
you money for the show. He just
Sure.
gives it to me.
Of course.
So I favor him greatly.
Okay, go for it. What is it?
So this is from my patron Duncan Morris, and he has two questions. And he's recently just started listening to the Ensign's Log, and he's been binging it. And right now he's up to episode 136. So he's not all the way through yet.
Okay.
And he couldn't make it here live, but he sent these questions in ahead of time, hoping we would answer them. So here we go. First question
Okay.
from Duncan. How do you decide which episodes to set your episodes in or after? Obviously, with TOS, there was a direct crossover with pretty much every
Sure.
episode.
Which
but
we're going
since
back to, by the way, during
Okay.
for DS9.
Since the leap forward, it's been far more selective. I presume Jason generally decides, but are there specific things you look for? When we skip episodes, how do you choose which episodes we're doing?
One for fit. Is there room for us? Is there room for us in it? If there's room for us in it, then yes. I mean, one of the reasons why we are not in the fucking Borg episodes, the ones where Jean-Luc Picard is kidnapped and then he's not kidnapped, was largely because we where are we going to be during that? Are we gonna? Do I place it while we're being attacked at Wolf? Whatever. That's relatively brief. So I try to see there's room for us to tell our story with the backdrop being TNG. It used to be every other one, but I gave up on that. And as you can see, we're just skipping out in the last season altogether. Season 7 is maybe we'll hear stuff. You know, there'll still be people who want to send us stuff about what's going on the Enterprise while we're both at Deep Space Nine. But the whole goal, for those who've been around, and we've said it many times during these Q&As, the whole goal was to get these two assholes, or three assholes now. You're not, Dana, Dana's not so much an asshole, and that's something we need to work on. Dana needs to become a real asshole on the show.
Right.
But the whole point was to get them to DS9 because it is Steve and I's favorite, and Dana doesn't care. She doesn't care about it.
Nope.
But it is but Dana, it is the one you know the most about because you have actually watched more than half of it
Some
now
of
with
it.
me on our live stream.
Have I watched more than half of the episodes?
Well, maybe not exact. It depends because like we did skip some in earlier seasons, but we're midway through season 5 now, so I would think
I definitely
we've
watched
seen...
more than half of the episodes of season 5. I've watched almost all of season 5.
Well,
the question isn't so much did she watch it; it's did she retain it.
I was going to say she has sat on camera while the episode was playing. I don't know how much she was actually paying attention to some of those.
I will say, on the other hand, though, if I haven't watched it, I don't retain any of it. So there is that. If I've watched it, there is at least, in theory, the potential to have retained something.
Fair enough.
Uh-oh.
What?
Oh, okay, there we go.
Everything
Never mind.
okay?
I'm having a problem. An old man's looking at the wrong screen.
You're having you're having a fit.
Oh no!
Okay, and here's the second question. Here's the second question from Duncan, and this is I can't wait to hear the answer to this one because I have no idea. Do you have Dana's genealogy laid out from Jason and Steve's mom
really
all the way to her?
Map it. Okay, so here's how it's
we have a family tree, don't we? Like
So
I know I've tried to draw it a couple of times.
This is literally what we've determined. Evil Jason is Steve's dad. Okay, So Evil Jason had sex with Steve's mom, and Steve is literally Evil Jason's son. Not my son, because I'm good Jason.
The other yous. Although you are
Right.
currently in the Evil Jason's body, so
Right. And so what happened was I had sex with Steve's mom as well, and she produced a daughter without my knowing, and then she married into a whatever the fuck they're called.
Oh,
I don't
Betazoid.
care. A Betazoid family.
I knew it started. Look, y'all, I was about to say Bajor, and I'm like, I know that's wrong. But it's close, and it does start with a B. So
which
I had that.
eventually produced Dana, and so that's how we're all. And no, Steve and Jason are never ever going to find out that Steve is the son of Evil Jason. Steve was exposed to the evidence, and he's too dumb to notice. That's what the evidence was.
does it still count as dramatic irony if the character is just too oblivious to realize it?
Yes, it does. That even makes it even more ironic.
That I should know, but I don't.
Evil Jason literally showed you him meeting your mother, and the implication is that they had sex.
Oh God.
Yeah, but I mean that at this point that kind of sort of washes past him because she's had so much sex with so many
really
people
has.
that it's just like,
She's,
whatever.
She's had a very
And he
full
doesn't
life.
like being reminded of it or even thinking about it.
Yeah, he kind of blocks that kind of thing out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, so some questions now from the chat. So keep the questions coming in the live chat, monkeys.
Yay.
Type the questions, monkeys. But anyway,
don't call them monkeys.
Sorry, apes. Sorry, apes.
Don't call them apes either.
What?
The animals.
Siamac wants to know, where's the naughty karate ring? Okay, it's in the Poncho's Happy Bottom Riding Club, and it's just kind of somewhere in the back.
You can find it if you look up a map of Deep Space Nine. You'll see Poncho's Happy Bottom Riding Club there on the map, and it's somewhere in there. It's not a terribly big ring, but it is a ring.
It's not like it's not like a 20 by 20 full size pro wrestling ring or boxing ring or something.
Yeah,
it's just kind of an area.
We didn't want them to be able to avoid each other.
Right.
It's
not like a Kumatai or something like that. What's a stupid fucking they fought in Voyager, the one with the rock in it.
Oh yeah.
Whatever made up sport that was.
No, I picture it as like, because it is naughty karate, I picture like the tournament mat in the Karate Kid with like the little square in the middle.
I don't picture that at all. Mine is closer to underground chicken fights in the back of a dingy bar. That's what I picture it as.
Oh, that's what we should have called it instead of naughty karate.
Yeah.
Underground chicken fights.
How exactly do you know what underground chicken fights in the back of a dirty bar look
like? None of your
like?
business. Get your beak out of my business, lady.
Hey, it wasn't my business until you brought it on our live stream.
If Mr. Cuckles hadn't been killed, I'd be rich now.
Sir.
Did you see Cry Macho?
No, I didn't.
Is movie?
That about chicken fighting?
Yeah, well, not exclusively, but there's a fighting cock in it. Yes.
Okay.
Named Macho.
CMAC, no, this is not Willie Mays jersey. This is something that I've had for forever. It has no name on the back.
But are you wearing it in respect for the dearly departed Mr. Mays?
No, I wear it because I like wearing my.
So you don't care that. So you, like a lifelong Giants fan, you don't really care that Willie Mays is dead. It doesn't bother you.
I've met him 5 times.
I know.
Are you jealous, Steve?
Just water off your back. Am I jealous that he's? Am I jealous that he got to meet Willie Mays?
Baseball players, yeah.
Yes, I'm very jealous that he got. Am I jealous that he got to meet the greatest baseball player who ever lived 5 times? No, not at all.
That he recognized me on the 3rd time?
That doesn't bother me at all.
So he would go around the park in a golf cart that was just his. Yeah. And at first he was the one riding it around, but eventually, he had someone driving it around. And on the 4th time he said, slow down. I wanted to say hi to this young man. And I said, hi. It's like, hi. And I'm like, how in the hell do you know who I am?
That's so cool.
Some goober. Yeah, he's cool.
Well, he could tell that you were a young man.
No.
Well, compared to Willie, everybody was a young man.
That time I was in my 40s, so I'm younger compared to him, yes.
Exactly.
I saw someone was sharing a video. I think the day after he died on Twitter, and it was it looked like from just a couple years ago, and it was Willie meeting Vin Scully, and Vin Scully like introduced himself and said, "Willie, Vin Scully," and Willie Mays just laughed and said, "I know who you are." Like, Scully, never heard of you.
We're talking about baseball.
We're talking about baseball during a Star Trek podcast.
Thank
okay.
You.
So, okay, let me see. Some more questions. Air One Fire says, if Steve is the son of Evil Jason and Evil Jason is immortal and has super strength, does that mean Steve has latent superpowers that may or may not appear later?
No.
No. Although it might be great if Steve somehow got that idea.
Steve has to seethe in jealousy over the fact that Jason got them because Jason is now living in Evil Jason's body.
Yes, and I would, and that is something I would not want to.
The problem with Steve's character is we can never give him power because his character is such that he would become so tyrannical that it would not be a good thing. It would never be a good. That's why Steve can never have too much power, too much money, or his own way. Because unless you haven't been paying attention, Steve's own way is usually pretty awful. I'm not saying he's a bad person.
He's very he's selfish and
well.
he's selfish and he's egotistical and he has no impulse control.
Right. Yeah, it's that last one for me. Because then even when he's trying to help, that's often worse. That's worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that goes to Air One Fire's next question. It kind of goes to what you were just saying, Jason. Is Steve the chosen one who will become one of the prophets or stop the Dominion?
Now, here's the thing. I think that would be funny to do, but
I mean, I get the thing about the to me, the thing that makes him funny is that he almost never succeeds, but it never seems to stick. You know, like nothing ever actually permanently dings his confidence. Like he might be, mopey about it for a little bit, but he always goes right back to the guy who thinks he's the best at everything and, is completely confident that he can handle any situation. And no matter how many times he screws up, it never seems to register. So, and like arguably the time he was the most successful and the most heroic is something that like
no one remembers.
So even that kind of gets taken away from him.
He had to be forced into it. He made a very, very. His decision was a selfish decision one way or a selfish decision the other way. Right. So he had to make it. He had to make a decision. Now, am I saying he's awful? No. Is he going to meet the prophets? Oh yeah. I've already planned that out. He don't know yet. Steve doesn't know.
And
but
which
between
is
the two
one
of
of
them,
yeah.
Steve meeting the prophets is going to be the funniest fucking thing I can think of.
Oh, I can't wait.
A bunch of people who won't talk straight.
I mean, one of the great, like, for me, and I feel like I feel like I'm more excited about this part of the show than Dana is, because Dana, I know you're much more of a preparer than I am. But like to me, like getting on the call with Jason on the day we're recording the show and having Jason just say like, okay, Steve, today we're going to find out that, Bigfoot is a time traveler and he's your real father. And I'm like, okay, like just having things just drop.
And Dana's like, wait, I got to write this down. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. First of all, I know so little about Star Trek, and that's then I forget things. Like things just do not stay in my head. They don't. Absolutely not. They're gone.
How do you feel about being Rom's first secret girlfriend?
No.
Why not? Rom's a nice
Guys,
guy. I like him.
Yeah, Rom's a nice guy.
Absolutely. However, I feel like we've leaned in.
You're going to be everybody's girlfriend. That's it.
Yeah.
No, you can be whatever you want.
I don't want that to be like her thing. She's the girlfriend. I really don't want that to be. That makes me really uncomfortable.
You're going to be everybody. You're going to be my girlfriend, Steve's girlfriend, and
Just call me Steve's mom
Cisco's
at that point.
girlfriend.
Can we just bring Steve's mom on? I'll play that character. I'll be the third character. I can handle that.
Actually, the thing about you is how overworked you're going to be, because at this point, all we're doing is discovering new creatures with new languages all the time, and you have to think, well, okay, yeah, all the time because of the Gamma Quadrant.
Yeah, but it's not open all the time. It's like open bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah, but every time they come back, they said, "Hey, here's another language we need you to dissect."
Yeah, people were coming and going through it like all the time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't get that vibe from having. I mean, I thought the wormhole opening was an occasional thing. And
No, they take it's like a route. They can go back and forth through it whenever they want.
It's like a truck stop next to a very busy freeway.
That's basically the premise of the show.
That's not the vibe. That is absolutely not the vibe that I'm getting from.
See, this is why you need to pay closer attention when we watch the show.
Fuck you.
Wow.
Like, I am paying closer attention to that episode, and they don't go through the wormhole, and they don't mention characters going through the wormhole every episode.
No, they don't,
because it's not relevant to that story, which is fine.
Implication is that is what's happening. Starfleet's is all up on the fucking
I understand that that it's important and it's there, but I thought part of the reason that it was such a big deal was because when it opened, it was, I mean, not like a once in a lifetime event, but not like a multiple times daily occurrence.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I thought there was something about at some point whether or not they were able to control it, but they don't talk about opening the wormhole. It's open or it's not.
No, you can trigger the wormhole to open from your ship. I can't remember what the exact mechanism is, but you can trigger it to open.
Yeah, but they can fly through it whenever they want. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you nerds can't remember,
I like the idea
that
there's a bunch of ships lined up outside the wormhole.
It's not something they have made clear in the show.
Well, it doesn't matter how they do it. The point is, there's a thing they do and it opens and they fly through it. I don't know if it's an inverse tachyon pulse. I don't fucking know what made up bullshit they do to make their made up wormhole open.
Well, now that's your job.
Yeah, but you know what, like a tricorder and a food thingy are.
Yeah. We throw a tricorder and a food thingy at it and it opens up.
They have a tricorder taped to the end of a long stick and they stick it out the ship and wave it around until the wormhole opens.
You nerds, you're supposed to know things like that. The terms for stuff.
It's discussed in the first episode and it's never brought up again.
Yeah, it's just
how to trigger the wormhole. It's just never brought up again.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge. Dark Matter in the chat said something very nice about our show. They said started listening to the show a month or so ago, and I was in a really bad bipolar low, and powered through all the episodes as quickly as humanly possible. It's so funny.
Jesus.
It really helped keep my mind stable when I needed it. Thank you so much. Well,
you're
that's
welcome.
Really cool.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm happy to hear that you powered through them. That's awesome. We have a lot of shows at this point. We're at 140 something.
140 something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that our show didn't make it worse.
Yeah. I'm glad that you found solace in our misery. And that's basically it. Is our characters, one of our characters has to be miserable at any given. Our last episode.
At least one.
Our last episode in the last season is Steve and Jason happily packing to go to Deep Space Nine and Dana having a meltdown trying to keep the bar together.
Because we try to spread the misery around. It can't always be Steve as the miserable one or Jason as the miserable one.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Lawler wants to know, did Steve then inherit any of evil Jason's powers? Think of all those roast beef sandwiches. I feel like it might be funny if Steve inherited some utterly mundane, useless power that he doesn't even know he has.
That's possible.
And is no good to him at all.
That's definitely possible. And it stands to reason that, because Dana's a direct descendant from good Jason. So
that's right.
Because I think what's going to come forward with Jason is that his gene suppressors don't work. The reason why he almost turned completely evil at the end of the season is because his gene suppressors don't work anymore. And part of the thing that the gene suppressors did was suppress the extraordinarily powerful emotions that Vulcans actually feel. And he has no training for that. We explored that in the first season.
Mhm.
And Jason nearly goes completely evil towards the end of this. He's openly talking about murdering people. And him showing up at DS9, it doesn't necessarily put a lid on that. It's something that he's going to have to learn to control, because it's going to just turn out that his gene suppressors just don't work anymore on that body. Because remember, the body itself is like 1,000,000 years old,
Yeah.
even though it looks normal. And anything Dana, wherever. So here's the thing. I know I sound like a dictator, but these guys get to choose what direction their characters go. Dana wanted to remain amnesiac after the memory erasure. I said, okay, that's fine. That's fine. And she can do that. If she came in and said, I want my character to be a lesbian, that so long as it's within the context of the show, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. So if she doesn't want to be a girlfriend, she don't got to be a girlfriend to anybody. Because I agree, she's got to be something more than just a girlfriend or a mommy.
A mommy, yeah.
Even though I do have to say that Steve's mom is the most unconventional mom I think ever created.
Oh, yeah, you think?
She's fun.
She's fun.
She's a great character, absolutely.
I can't wait till Oksana Troy and your mom meet.
Oh man. Won't
That's
that
gonna
be great?
Great. That'll be great. That's gonna be your most miserable episode.
My character or me?
Your character.
Your character. I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Oh yeah. No. And it was a Sunkatsi. Arcane Flame has us with the
Thank you, Arcane Flame.
Yeah, the martial art on the Voyager episode that The Rock guest starred in. Mm-hmm. Where The Rock did a clean job to 7 of 9,
I think I had some Sunkatsi at Benihana once.
Oh yeah. Did you get the spicy or the extra spicy?
I got the extra spicy.
Yeah. I can't handle the extra spicy.
Of course not, white boy. I have like 3 drops of Filipino in me, and I lord it over Steve all the time.
Whitey. Travis asks, are Baby and Dana's other passengers still around?
Yes, they're still around, but those are complicated episodes whenever we bring them in. So the current establishment is that they are mostly internal voices for Dana. But if Dana, if you want to expand on those, I think we can, because one of them is fucking what's her face?
Grandma.
I can't remember anything.
Oh, Tasha.
Grandma. Tasha.
Well, yeah, there is a grandma character.
There's
Tasha,
Grandma, Limtap, Baby, and the one that just screams in a foreign language that no one understands. He's a Herc. Limtap is the Herc.
Limtap is the Herc.
Limtap is the Herc. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an idea that I still have not had yet, and I think we'll do it during the invasion of, because at one point Deep Space Nine gets invaded by the Cardassians and taken over. Steve more than likely is going to stay behind to continue, I guess,
to continue running my bar.
To Cardassians at Pancho's Happy Bottom Riding Club. But Dana and I, as Starfleet officers, have to leave, and we fight. There's a big battle during that. Yeah. And I think what would be funny is that Dana has untapped superpowers, and she's only demonstrated them a couple of times. But I think I would love the episode where you get knocked out and your passengers take over your body and just fucking wreck shop. And to the point in which you become legendary amongst the Klingon Empire, where you're like picking people and throwing them across the room, because when they take over your limbs, you're super strong. So, and it's something that we just haven't done yet. And of course, they'll be talking with your voice. And, because she contains multitudes.
Banana is Free asks about Dana's memory loss. Says, is Dana getting her memory loss just a way to get rid of all the personalities that she got from the baby absorption? But I think the memory loss came after that, didn't it?
It did.
No. It was the reason that the memory loss happened to everybody. So it was that virus thing.
The aliens that came on and erased our memories so that we could go fight in a war. And
Sure.
Right.
cure that the doctor came up with worked for me and worked for Steve, but didn't work for Dana.
Yes.
So
And the
she already
reason
had
was,
her, yeah. She
the
already
reason
had
was,
her,
I'm
yeah.
like, this way I don't have to, all the things that I can't remember, I don't have to remember.
And she doesn't-
Like,
she-
all the
she
stuff
got-
that I don't know about Star Trek, I don't know it
She got to hit the
because,
reset
like,
button,
my
right?
character lost
Yeah.
memory. And so, like, the stuff that I do know, like, we
Mhm.
decided that I've been going back and looking through my file to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to know? Who am I? What have I been doing? Oh, crap, I was involved with the Orion Syndicate? Damn it, why did I do that?
Because Dana has as much a backstory as Steve and I do. Except hers is even more complicated than Steve and I. We're just a couple of dorks, okay, that have been moving their ways through Starfleet. And now Steve's is starting to catch up. Steve's backstory is now he's secretly still working for Starfleet and the Orion Syndicate
And who
and
else?
the Ferengi Alliance.
Yeah.
And what else? I mean, they're like
Is there another one?
Section 31.
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's playing multiple angles.
We got a super chat from MJ323 who says, "Love y'all's work, sense, and sensibilities. Keep up the great stellar work." Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. That's wonderful.
And Matthew Datcher has a really good question. Is the Ensign's log evil Jason related to Opinionville's evil Jason?
Now, as I have said before, there is no crossover between Opinionville and this show. But this is going to be the second time where a character that I have created has an evil doppelganger.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that requires me to go to therapy to try to figure out, okay, what's going on here? Why is it when I create fiction, I'm creating the evil version of myself like every time? Do I think I'm that great, or is evil Jason really me? Is that what I'm trying to get across?
It's fun to play evil.
Sure. Yeah. It's very liberating.
Yeah.
The villains, well, not just that, but the villains tend to be hammier and thus more fun to play.
Yes.
Like, how much do you think?
Speaking of hammy villains.
Yes.
Yes, I got to play a hammy villain recently, and it was lots of fun.
Yes, for a video that I made. Yeah. And speaking of that, like, how much do you think like William Shatner regretted not getting to play the evil version of Captain Kirk in that Mirror Universe episode? Like, we got him for like one scene where he's like ranting and raving, and it's like, and then the rest of the time he's just playing normal Kirk, and it's like, man, I bet he would have loved to play the evil guy.
Yeah, I would have thought it was great.
Here's a good one. I think we've talked about this before, but it might have been a while. And for folks who have joined the show more recently, the Noam Chomsky says,
"Hello, Noam Chomsky."
So, is it all improv, or is there a basic script somewhere?
It's all improv, with the exception, and I think this pertains to you, Noam, because we talked about this. The guest stars that we did, which I'm still open to doing. If you're a $10 donator on Patreon, we're still going to be opening that up so that you could be a guest star. When those came forward, if they couldn't meet during the improv, or they were a little concerned about doing improv, I wrote a script. And I wrote the script and I would send it to them. They would record their dialogue and they would send it in. But when it's Dana, myself, and Steve, it's all improv. I give them the basic stuff and they just go forward.
Yeah, we start with an idea and then it goes.
Yep.
Yeah. And if one of us, if me or Dana wanders too far off the path or says something that
I'll
just
pull
is
them back.
completely,
Yeah.
So it's kind of directed improv.
The food machine refrigerator instead of a replimat. No,
replicator. The
that
replimat
thing.
is where the replicators are.
Yeah.
On Deep Space Nine.
But at this time, you've literally come up with a reason for your character to say that, and for us to correct you on the show, so we don't have to stop and go back and go, "That's what they're called, Dana." You can just go, you mean
you can do, or you can do that, and you can do it in character.
Because you can literally now say, "I went to the thingy where you pull food out of the wall and eat it." The replimat, that thing.
I've done that.
I know you have.
The food hole thingy. The thing you get the food and it gives you whatever you want.
The food hole thingy.
The food hole
anyway,
thingy.
So,
because we did a little.
Not your mouth.
When we
Shut
had Patreon, guest stars, I wrote a script. specifically, and then if it was Steve and me, or it was Steve and me and someone else, or Steve, me and Dana, we would sit down and we would record that scene. I would get the recording from the guest star, and then I would put it all together, and then I would plop it into the current episode, and the rest of that episode is all improvised.
Yeah.
With the exception is, like, there was one where one of the guest stars appeared several times throughout the episode, and I would have to stop and say, okay, this is where we're going to stop. And we'd stop because we're doing the scene now between myself and the other person, and then we would go over. I love them. So if you're a Patreon at the $10 level and you want to be on the show, go to Patreon and send me a message saying you want to do it.
And they come out really good in the show too. I mean,
they're
really
awesome. They're
one of
my favorite things in the world. So yeah.
And every once in a while, like usually this happens with me. You don't usually have to correct Dana like this, but every once in a while, Jason, like you'll tell me to have Steve react in a different way to something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so there's directions that happen. Like if
usually it's be dumber. That's usually,
right,
I don't say that, but I mean,
but it's like, or sometimes you'll tell me to have you as Jason will ask me a question and I'll respond positively, and you'll say, no, you need to be really mad about this. And I'm, okay, and we'll do something like that.
Because this is more in line with your character.
Usually Jason's got an idea and he'll stop and he'll be like giggling as he says, no, wait.
No, wait a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Ghost Wheel says, so Steve is Steve Carell from The Office.
Yes, he kind of is.
It's very close. It's a very close, or David Brent if you want to go for the original Office. Yeah, it's that kind of like just total lack of self-awareness and just impenetrable like self-image based
your ego.
That's not
your
based
ego
on reality.
Is almost impossible. Even when people are telling you to your face insults, it doesn't seem to penetrate Steve. It doesn't seem. No. There are moments where he feels down. When he feels that he's being excluded, or he feels that he's being, that he's not part of it, he needs to interject himself into it. The Splunk Protocol. His biggest beef about the Splunk Protocol is that it's called the Splunk Protocol and not the Splunk Johnson Protocol.
No. It should be Johnson Splunk, clearly, because it should go alphabetically.
Exactly. And plus, I did save all of reality at great personal sacrifice. Yeah. So, and I did kill Q.
If you wanted to break it down, Steve's confident, Jason's fearful, and Dana's forgetful. And those are the three. Those are the three. If you wanted to boil our characters down to a simple syrup, those are the three strains that play against each other. And now we've added to Jason and potentially evil if he's not kept in line. So,
I mean, honestly, I think you could say if you wanted to boil our personalities down.
How dare you? How dare you do that?
The Gnome Chomsky also says, can we get a return of Plobo, who hates moons?
Oh, I hate moons.
I hate moons.
I hate moons. Don't take Plobo away from me. I'll do the rest of the show like this. Hi, it's me, Plobo. What's podcast?
I think Plobo is one of those characters, and even though I don't play him, like he's so much fun to play with.
I need to use him sparingly, and if you watch DS9, you will routinely see Packlets in that bar. That have no speaking dialogue, but they're
Packlets are background players, background characters in Deep Space Nine a lot.
Any one of them can be Plobo if you want. If you want to fix Plobo to him,
he's one of those characters that like he would just take over the show.
Yeah, he could
if we like, because he's so much fun. Travis Coyle said, I had issues with the past few seasons story-wise. I thought Dana hiding her husband's identity was going a totally different direction, and this season really tied up some loose ends and made a good end. So I'm glad you think it turned out well. Yeah, the idea, I think we even talked about that a little bit, like behind the scenes when we were doing the show, like what does it say about Dana's character that she has, like the fact that she's basically been like Clark Kenting this entire time. And living under an assumed identity,
and why? So we wanted to come up with.
And and all that. So yeah, we tied that up, and now she can be forgetful in whatever next stage she's going to be entering into. So
Yeah. Air One Fire. I think this is directed at you, Dana. Air One Fire says, "You don't want to date Rom, the best character ever."
Mostly, I want to have. I don't want to rely too much on that kind of storyline. I don't want to do just one thing. If she's doing one thing, I want the thing that we come back to be something other than like a gender role. I think, especially since right now we've got two guys and a female, actor. I think I want to try to stay away from that. But also just, thinking from, I want the character to have more agency than that. Even I think if I was a guy character, being defined by my relationships would be,
you notice that no one's asking about who Steve is going to date next.
Well, they all die. That would be unfortunate.
They die, or they stop existing, or whatever it is.
Or they sleep with Jason.
Or they die and then they stop existing.
There's a reverse, huh? Where they sleep with Jason.
I love that. Here's what and again, it's just like, it's part of what makes the character so much fun to play, is that we have established that in the past, before the show started happening, Steve was a huge ladies' man and even slept with a bunch of Jason's girlfriends, like 13. In a row. Yeah.
13 of them.
And now he's been on this dry spell that he just
been on a dry spell
time.
Almost since Lenore. You dated Jay for a little while.
Yeah.
Did he?
Reluctantly.
Or did he attempt to date Jay?
No, he did date Jay.
Yeah, remember, Jay was the one that he wasn't super happy
Jay
about.
fell in love with his time brother. And
That's right.
They're off having their own big life adventures.
And he pursued Ensign Rowe, but Rowe was having none of it.
Yes,
I think what would be interesting for Steve now is for his mom to visit, and all his mom can now talk about is the other Steve and how proud she is of Steve and their grandchild and all this other stuff. And Steve, being as insecure as he is, wants his mommy's love back, and he's just, because there's never ever, Steve can't be happy, right? He can't be happy. He sabotages his own happiness on a routine basis.
Well, because nothing's ever good enough for me, because I always think I deserve more than I'm gonna get. Yeah.
And so he's always grabbing at something. It's the Aesop's fable, grabbing at something more and you lose what you got.
Yeah.
The dog and the reflection.
The dog with the bone and the reflection. Yeah. Yeah. The Rockin' Donkey says, "Are the gene suppressors a canon thing or something you guys made up for the podcast?"
We made it up for the podcast. It's not a canon thing. It's not. There is a lot that's canon. For example, and it's not something that we've really touched on. In order for a human being and any other species to have a child, involves a lot. Like, for example, for a human and a Vulcan to have Spock involved a lot of intervention in order to get him to be alive. And it's the same thing with my character, because although I'm even a quarter Vulcan, it involves a lot. And so we just come up with gene suppressors because I figured if they can do that, then they can, come up with ways to balance it out one way or the other way if the person chose to do it. And so we made up gene suppressors. And it's kind of inspired by the Drumhead, because there's a guy on the Drumhead.
Oh, the Romulan guy.
Not the Romulan guy. Who tells everyone he's a quarter Romulan.
No, it is the Romulan guy. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
He's a quarter Romulan, but he tells everyone he's Vulcan.
He tells he's Vulcan.
And it's kind of like, okay, well, what if you didn't want to be Vulcan at all, but you had Vulcan heritage? You take gene suppressors.
Yeah.
And so that was just literally a comedy gag that we came up in the first season, that both of them were keeping secrets. Steve's secret was he had been in prison, and my secret was since the day he's met me, I have been secretly Vulcan, and he didn't know. So
yeah. Air One Fire says maybe Cybok could help Jason control his emotions. The laughing Vulcan seems to have it pretty under control.
He doesn't control his own emotions. That was the whole deal with Cybok.
And also, not that I give a shit, but Cybok is dead by the time Deep Space Nine.
We
takes
don't know
place.
that. We didn't.
Well,
well,
that's why. That's why I'm saying
they
I
did
don't.
shoot
I don't
that
give.
photon torpedo
Yeah.
right on his position. So
I mean, that's why I'm saying I don't give a shit. If we were doing a show and Jason said, "Hey, by the way, Cybok's going to be in this episode," I'd be like, "Okay." You know,
because he
like,
figures I've figured out a way to get him into the episode.
or if he's just on Deep Space Nine having a cup of coffee.
Yeah, for some reason.
Like, yeah, like I don't care. Ghost Wheel says Steve should steal all of Dana's boyfriends. just to prove that I can. Just to be petty and to prove that I can.
That's right. That's right.
Um,
Actually, I want her, if she's going to date anybody, I want her to date the character that they talk about, but we never see, and that's the dude who has a clear skull that you can see his brains.
The guy who Dax
Captain,
goes out with a few times, yeah.
Yeah, Dax goes out with him a couple of times. Captain, whatever his name is.
Captain, I think it starts with a B. I can't remember.
Bidet?
Maybe. Captain Bidet.
Captain
I think it is Baudet. I think it is Baudet.
I think it's Baudet.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, I think that would be interesting just because there's so much material there. I mean, being the clear head.
I love him for his mind.
And then his name being Captain Bidet.
Captain Bidet.
I could say, Dana, is it weird for you as a telepath to date someone that everybody else can read their thoughts to?
That's not how that works, Steve.
Oh, God, but it's just.
I know, but that's the joke.
You got to go with me on this. We got to ride together.
No,
we got to ride together.
Just because you can see his brain doesn't mean you can read it. What do you think? That it flashes on a ticker tape across his head?
No. I think it's funnier if Steve actually means that.
If you had told that,
that Steve fundamentally does not know how telepathy works.
I just want to put it out there that Jason,
Yes?
if you had told that joke, I would have supported you.
What joke?
But he went.
The
Jason
read
was
minds
supporting you. He went in character.
I think we answered this already, but Elias wants to know: will we be going to Voyager or the NX-01, meaning Enterprise?
Maybe as like a one-off during this season, but we're not after this. Our show will end with the end of DS9, and so because I don't want to do this into my 70s, because we'll be doing this. I mean, technically, if you people want to listen to it, a severely elderly old man continue to do this show, and we just pick up, we go right into Voyager. We can. In many ways, it's going to be funnier, but our characters are going to start aging. And we're going to be like, why in the world are they still active in Starfleet?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Maybe we'll go to the cartoon show and it'll be funny then.
It would be nice if it was funny.
Oh, shit. Shots fired.
Oh, did you see the Doctor has joined the cast for...
I saw, in the trailer for Prodigy,
Yeah.
Well, Robert Picardo picking up a paycheck. Good for him.
Why not?
Yeah, good for him.
He deserves it.
Yeah, exactly. I think so too. He seems like a very nice man.
Sure. I don't know. Could be a prick. I don't know.
And now, hopefully now all the Voyager fans will stop pissing and moaning about their show not getting respect. Like, okay, look, you got Janeway, you got the Doctor.
But it's a cartoon.
It's like the second best show that Star Trek is making right now.
I know.
It's a fantastic
Pretty soon
show.
It's going to be the only show that Star Trek is making right now.
Unless like the second season just completely falls off a cliff. I mean, based on the first season, it's fantastic. So let me see. Sci-Fi Brony has a good question. With you guys voicing all the characters, is there a concern when inevitably an interaction with one of the Ciscos happens, considering you guys are all white?
No,
I don't think we're ever going to have a Cisco on the show.
We usually, we don't voice the main characters.
The main characters never appear.
Yeah,
on the show.
we talk about
as a voice.
them.
We talk about them. Things happen around them, but we don't have them appear because none of us can come close to approximating their voices.
We're not great at impressions.
Now, if there's an actor out there that wants to join the cast because he sounds exactly like Avery, then great, come on board.
Yeah.
We'll have him appear all the time. Why don't we just get totally suited to the ground? At that point, Avery Brooks does it. Paramount does it. You're like, what are you doing? Like,
We'll just find someone who does a really spot on Avery Brooks and have him come in every 5 or 6 episodes just to play Cisco being really mad at us about something.
Yes,
potential
that's exactly
ending.
what I was thinking. Cisco yelling at us.
Yeah, a potential ending of the
Specifically
show.
Steve. It would be Steve, let's be honest.
Yeah,
It's
for
all
sure.
of us in the celestial temple at the end in endless white, bickering at each other.
Sci-Fi Brony also says, is it possible that evil Jason is Enterprise's future guy?
Ooh, that's a good idea, huh?
Everybody wants to fucking resolve future guy. Just let it go.
I'm going to do it.
Just let it go.
If Paramount's not going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Future guy is a guy on Star Trek Enterprise who was like a mysterious messenger from the future who only appeared as like a shadow hologram. You couldn't see his face and you never learned his name. And he would manipulate things in the present of the show, like from the future. And they never told you what his true identity was. And ever since the show ended, there is a certain group of fans who are like, they need to tell us who future guy was.
Probably Spock.
I hope, you know what? Yeah, exactly. It should be Spock. It should be Spock played by yet another actor.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. They should cast yet another actor to play Spock.
The reason Steve wants to do that is because it would piss off the fans even more.
I know, he does everything to piss off fans. It's
primary motivation.
Because as far as Steve is concerned,
so predictable.
He's the only true fan and everyone else are fucking nerds.
Thank you. See, now that's the kind of support I was looking for earlier.
Oh, there you go.
The transparent head joke.
All I had to do is jerk you off a little bit.
Just a little bit here and there.
Not to completion, just,
I know, just enough to make me sad and you happy.
Just enough to make you feel like, I don't want to do this.
Not sad like I'm crying, but definitely sad like I'm quietly strangling a puppy that I don't know. It's so sad for
just uncomfortable and unsatisfied.
Right, exactly.
Sad for the state of your life.
Yeah, how did I get here?
Like,
Why
how
am
did I come to this place? Yeah.
And the sadder I get, the happier you become.
I mean, that's pretty much the show, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of.
That's the TV guide summary for the entire series. Matthew asks, are you still going to have guests on the show? I think we mentioned that already. If you want, you have to give Jason become a $10 patron of the podcast.
Let me know. Let me know through the Patreon. Yeah. Let me know through the Patreon. Because Jason has become dangerous, because here's the thing that you guys probably noticed in the last 2 episodes of last year. Jason discovered that AI can change a performance. So Admiral, what's his name? The old man that was talking to Dana in regards to the Splunk protocol and all that other stuff. That isn't an actor. That's me. And I strained my performance through AI to turn him into that old weird talking old man. And Zorny is me also through a filter. So.
And they both turned out really well, which is the scary
great.
part.
They're great.
Like, it's your performance, but the voice is
disconcerting.
Yeah, we're doomed. Travis Coyle says,
I'm going to replace you next, Steve. There's enough of your lips flapping all over the internet for them to create a fake Steve, and then you're out. I'll be like,
as soon as I get that Steve AI voice trained, you're out of here.
I don't remember recording the last episode. No, you don't. You don't.
Yeah, very good.
That's the idea.
This is the last sad hand job you're getting from me, Shives.
Travis Coyle says, I know you guys hate Voyager, but as a Voyager fan, could we at least get a Tuvix Christmas special or something?
Oh God, that's the episode that got me to stop watching Voyager. Was Tuvix?
Yeah.
I was like, I hate these fucking people. Oh well, we know we're doing something wrong, but our feelings, like, fuck off, assholes.
So Tuvix is the combined dude, right?
Yeah, Tuvok and Neelix, yeah.
You could have gotten rid of 2 people and replaced them with someone who can act.
Now, see, I think that's who Dana should date.
Tuvix?
Tuvix?
He's
and then
only
he's
for
gone.
Like 3 days before they murder him.
We need to come
They
up with
don't
the
murder him exactly. They just sort of,
murder him. He
They-
begs for his life
Yeah.
as they drag
Yeah.
him to sick bay.
Yes, and
And they
They-
all
they
walk
just-
away
yeah.
uncomfortably.
they just
Yeah.
they just disexist him. Because
Disexist him.
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
That'll
here's the
pass
thing.
YouTube
It's not-
standards. He's
it's
not dead. I
not
didn't say
murder.
dead. I said
It's not
disexist.
murder. It's
It's
not murder because murder
fucking
is a
murder.
legal term. Murder is a legal term. And Janeway apparently,
Okay, let me put
according
it
to
this way.
Starfleet, had the right. So it
whatever
wasn't
you
murder.
call it, that fucking crew did something deeply wrong that flies in the face of the goddamn Federation. So fuck them. Fuck all of them. I wish they flew right into a star right after that. Well, so much for that. We got our technical.
Well, this show's over.
And our Vulcan bag. Badoo, blam.
Dark Matter says, how fun was that Up the Long Ladder episode with all the Bring Lloydies to do? I was laughing so hard the entire time, and it sounded like a blast to record.
It was great. It was great because we got to incorporate the whales into it. We had to incorporate everything into it. It was great fun. And Steve and I got to figure out how many different Irish accents we could possibly
That's
do
right.
in one episode.
That's right. And it's always fun to do acceptable racial slurs. It's okay to offensively stereotype Irish people, right? I hope so.
Yeah, I just love the fact that during that episode, Steve is literally screaming at them to face the wall and not.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that's right. That's right.
That's the episode where the whales kill people.
Yes, they kill some of the Irish people, don't they?
They got them off the ship. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite plots that we came up with on our show is the whales.
That's me.
The whales committing murder and standing trial and going to prison, and it wasn't like the focus.
Put the bones in my mouth.
It's just God, it's just so funny to me. And then Dana starting a prison riot.
Yeah, starting a prison
with
riot.
the whales.
She went to go visit them.
They were being mistreated. It wasn't
They
right.
They were being put on trial for murder, which they committed.
Which they were guilty of.
Fine. I didn't.
Which also brought up the question I've always had: is if you killed a Klingon and ate him, is that cannibalism? And my answer is no, because he's not a human.
Depends on who you are. I mean,
if Klingons eat each other. But then again, what are their cultural? Or maybe not. Maybe what are their cultural beliefs?
Boy, they get peckish and they kill someone.
No. It's not about whether it's culturally relevant. It's like that's what the word means.
Okay.
Eating one of your own kind.
Actually, maybe the cannibalism doesn't exist in the Klingon homeworld.
Maybe there's
mostly it wouldn't be a taboo.
There's no taboo
like,
against it at all. Yeah.
Oh, it's just a thing. You just eat a guy's heart after you kill him.
Just
meat. It's like how apparently there's no incest taboo in Romulan culture, judging by Picard season 1.
Like fuck Picard season 1.
They're just brothers and sisters.
I think that's what he's talking about.
I know.
We have another super chat from Comet Quest. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Who says, I just hopped on the stream, gutted. I missed the first bit. I hope Jason is doing well with his health. Any ideas for the next season? So first of all, how close to death's door are you? And second
I
of all,
eat lard every day in the hopes that I will die before I have to do another season of the show. And I'm fine. I'm fine. Don't worry. Don't worry.
And as far as next season,
yeah. Oh, what about next season? What about it?
Well, do we? He said, do we have ideas?
Oh, I have plenty of ideas.
By which I would assume, do you have ideas since you're the creative
for this season and going forward? Yeah, I do have a lot of ideas. But also these guys contribute. So, Steve doesn't think about the show at all. He's so glad that he gets to sit down and someone tells him what to do and he just does it. He doesn't have to think. He doesn't have to be creative. He doesn't have to contribute. And meanwhile, Dana's like, I don't like that. I want to...
Stressing.
Yeah. She's stressing out.
What are you doing? What does this mean? What do I have to remember? Can I write it down? Where's my notes? Where's my notes?
Where's my notes?
Where's my notes?
Where she has to phonetically write out truly Star Trek words in order for her to say them right.
Vulcan.
What?
Vulcan. She's writing it
She knows how to
phonetically.
say Vulcan. That's a
Okay.
fucking.
Vulkin, Vulcan.
It's a Latin word, Vulcan.
Exactly, Vulcan.
It's a schwa in the second syllable, just
It's a
FYI.
schwa?
Mhm.
Okay.
Vulcan.
There you
Isn't
go.
that like an investment bank, or is it no? That's Schwab.
Just like there's an apostrophe in Splunk.
Yes, because it's a Vulcan name.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Here's an interesting one. I'm not sure if we've ever had to do this or not. Sci-Fi Brony says, "Has there been a time when Steve is playing it too stupid and needs to be reined in?" I
No.
can't remember a specific.
Can Steve get
instance.
more stupid than he is? I mean, there have been.
He's been to Jupiter a lot of times.
Even though it's now, and it's such a long trip now that when I get back, I'm so much stupider.
No, I can't think of. I like it when Steve is stupid and when Steve is vain.
Yeah, well, that's the
almost all
thing.
time. Yeah,
It's not that he's unintelligent. It's that he's completely just blinded by.
you're pretty dumb, Steve. You're pretty dumb.
But because he's blinded by his. I mean, yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, he is kind of dumb because didn't we do a bit in an episode where he didn't know how to field strip a phaser?
That's
and
what I was just going to bring up. He
and
didn't
he's
know
a
how to
security
field-
officer?
He's a security officer, and he was like, and I have to take his phaser away from him, and he's calling everything a thingy. And I said, no, you need to take the phaser coils off, blow out, make sure they're clean. And
He's
you're like,
stealing my gig.
and yet he still will continue to boast about how he's like the greatest security officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only person that he's ever managed to kill using his physically is that one ambassador that he killed by accident. He didn't mean to kill him, but he just did because he hit him in just the right place.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or
and you bring it,
you know,
you bring it up.
Or maybe he did do it on purpose.
He didn't, Steve.
Air one. Oh, I killed a Q.
Oh, that's right. You killed a Q too.
I killed a Q.
You hit him and he fell down.
By accident, but
accident.
you won't hear that from me.
Nope.
Air one
That's
fire
when Q
asks.
started showing up asking you to kill them.
That's right.
Yep.
Please release us. Release us from this hell. Air One Fire says, "Do you think Sexy Simon and Tina did it during the time skip?"
No. Ew. No, but maybe. Oh.
Because like you would have been, you know, like we jumped ahead like 100 years. So
Dana, chime in. Do you really think Sexy Simon is someone Tina would find attractive?
I don't remember Sexy Simon.
Do the Sexy
There you
Simon
go,
voice. Do the
Hey,
Sexy
it's
Simon.
me, Sexy Simon. I'm one of Steve's co-workers. I'm a pervert.
I got nothing, guys.
Yeah,
So,
she doesn't remember him at all.
but would you do, just based on that voice? Do you think he's someone Tina would be attracted to?
I don't. Here's the
Well,
question.
I don't.
Dana.
Wait, I don't think that wasn't the question, though, was it?
So here's the thing: the implication that Tina has right before they do the time skip is that Tina knows it's coming. Tina knows that Steve and Jason are about to travel
That's
through
true.
time.
That's
Tina
true.
is prepared for Jason and Steve to be gone for 100 years. Now, does that mean it's 100 years for Tina? Not necessarily, because she was working for the time cops, the temporal police people, whatever they're called.
That's right.
And so to her, I may have only been gone for a few years, not 100. So it's up to Tina. If Tina's hiding an affair that while I was gone, that's totally up to Tina. That's totally up to Dana. But what we've established in the show is that Tina and Jason are deeply in love with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to do anything to break them apart again.
And not only that, I mean, Tina is pretty invested in her work.
Yeah.
Like she and to the extent that she will butt heads with her superiors at her job because she differentiates between her job and her work. You know, she understands the importance of maintaining the time stream, blah, 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 paradox, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, you know, noting that there are multiple time streams and things can get jumbled up, maintaining them so that, you know, essentially preventing the universe from unraveling is the issue. And she doesn't always see eye to eye with her superiors on how that can be achieved. And when it comes, you know, down to choosing, you know, risking the universe for Jason, she'll take that risk. I mean, it is a risk. It's never been, you know, if you guys stay together, you know, this is going to unravel space-time. We've seen that. This is what happens. You know, so she's never been presented with anything that blunt, but
we've not done anything that cruel to the two of them.
Yeah, and also I've always felt like something like that feels really heavy-handed, you know.
And we already did that with Steve and Lenore.
Yeah.
Steve had to choose. Man, it turns out Lenore has a great life without Steve in it.
Well, and the other, and I think having something like that happen to Steve is funnier than having it happen to Jason, because Jason is a much more earnest character, and like he feels
and
tragedy.
Steve's full of shit.
Well, Jason experiences tragedy and loss in not, and I mean, sometimes it's funny when you like completely go to pieces, but usually, but your character deals with things emotionally in kind of a more realistic way,
more authentic.
More authentic. So it's not as funny. Whereas for Steve, like, even though I think you know, it's fair to say that we've given them enough to assume that there is some part of Steve deep down that does genuinely feel the loss of Lenore, but the way he outwardly expresses it is so immature and so self-centered.
He's got so much false bravado that he's
well, and
unwilling
like,
to
with Jason, when he experiences loss, and like, you know, there's some dramatic irony there, because, you know, we know that it's not that bad, or, you know, it's actually been resolved and he's still stuck on whatever else it is, and he's like, you know, going berserk, you know, fixated on something, and we know it's really not that bad. That's what makes that funny. Whereas with Steve, it's the inversion that you know, all these terrible things happen and like nobody takes it seriously that, you know, that he's going through this.
If there's anything, the Jason character can't let things go. He can't see things in his rear view. The death of Edith Keeler weighed on him for 2 years, and him trying to figure out how he can fix that, because he hated the idea that he caused this woman to die, whereas Steve didn't give a shit. He did not give a shit. He looked at it the other way. Well, we saved Starfleet, and that's the more important bit. Right. Yay.
Right.
Jason can't feel it's a victory. To him, it's a Pyrrhic victory. Yes, we saved Starfleet, but he don't feel good about it. Yeah, exactly.
Travis Coyle says Zorni needs to be the Ensign's unpaid intern.
I think that's what's going to happen.
I would love to see Zorni come back. I would love to see Zorni come back.
Zorni is
time
going
to
to
time
become
because
Steve Scooter. Yes, boss? And he's just like...
because and that's another thing that is like the tiniest little bit of authority goes right to Steve's head.
Oh yeah.
And that's funny to play too. Like it's funny to have him constantly get stepped on.
In the last episode, you were literally instructing Dana to be mean to Zorni.
Yes, I was.
And now it's like that's one of those throwaway characters that just turned into like Baby. Baby was like a throwaway character.
Yeah.
Zorni is another throwaway character who's going to become part of the show, and you know, well, we'll figure out what to do with him as we continue forward.
Greg Frost says, this is to you, Jason. Jason's contribution to the Picard reviews was epic, which is cool because a lot of people really didn't like.
They really didn't like what I had to say about the Picard reviews.
Which is weird because I feel like you liked that. You liked it better than I did.
I liked it. I liked the Picard season 3 much better than you did because I let a lot of stuff go. I just let stuff go.
But yeah, there were some people who were like, I don't like this guy. He's too negative. He's too angry.
I know. Even when I was being, very positive about the show, and Steve was still being a cranky, sandy butthole.
That's right.
Why can't they do something new? Well, they did that in the first season, and it was god awful. Then they did it again in the second season, and it was fucking awful. At least this one was better.
I mean, I'll go that far. I do think season 3 was definitely better than season 2.
Yep. But thank you.
At least,
thank you for that.
At least, yeah. I thought Jason's contribution was awesome as well. So I feel vindicated by
It was
this
all
one
jealousy.
person.
All of his fans who wanted to co-host a show with him talking about Picard. You
I can review a show too.
should do that. You should raffle that off.
No, I'm never going to do that.
You should do it. Raffle that off.
Air One Fire says, I felt this season was a bit light on the story, especially compared to the action-packed season 5. Do you have some larger season-length storylines prepared for season 7?
We have a lot, because a lot happens on DS9, but a lot needs to happen to our characters. We have 6 years now to cover for Deep Space Nine, and so I'll figure something out. Something's going to. It's all a matter of I'm sitting down and rewatching DS9 and trying to figure out. Okay, we can add this in, we can add this in, but a lot of what happens in our show happens during the improv. Something happens, and we just go with it. And so you're right. This was kind of a breather. This last season was kind of a breather. Things happened, but no catastrophic things happened. Steve and I weren't whisked away to another dimension. Because everyone is going to need to find out why the hell is Spot back.
Right.
Because that's how we ended it. You're gonna find out. It'll be fine. Don't worry. We're gonna do that. Okay. So things will happen. This one will be more action packed than the previous. Right, Steve?
If you say so.
I do say
so. It's your show.
Yeah.
I just want it to be funny.
Is it?
Like I'm like that's my main, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 5 boyfriends this season.
You're dating everybody. I don't care what you want.
That would definitely change things, for Steve to have that many boyfriends.
Then you get married and then you get pregnant. You have 5 babies. You're a mom for the rest of the show.
No. I have 4 babies and I'm carrying the 5th one when I'm killed off screen so that you guys can feel sad about it.
Hey.
Do they have refrigerators in Star Trek? Or because they have the replicator, they don't need those?
No, we call it being spaced, not getting fridged. In Star Trek, you get spaced.
I thought that was like literal though.
The closest thing that they have to fridging someone is Kalar.
Yeah,
Kalar is as close as they get to getting, because
she
Kalar
gets
shows up
big time.
She's got a kid. They're like, oh, we're gonna get back together. Oh no, now I'm killed. Kalar is the Klingon lady that has a kid with Worf.
No. You're saying that's the closest. That's one example, but let's not forget Jennifer.
Who?
Oh,
exactly.
Exactly. Well, but Jennifer, she gets killed in like a flashback.
No. She's even a better example of that, right? Because we don't know her.
Yeah.
We start off.
She only exists
the beginning of
for
Deep Space
Avery
Nine.
Brooks to chew up scenery more.
Right. To be depressed, to be sad faced during the beginning of the show. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they fucking almost do it with. Which one is it? Molly?
I wouldn't know.
When Molly suddenly grows up because of time shenanigans.
Oh, the time portal thing, yeah.
And then she kills herself. I mean, she basically kills herself. She jumps back through the thing, and
that's true. Because she erases her older self when she sends her younger self back through again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Molly's home, which meaning I no longer exist.
That's dark.
It's little dark.
But I think the another example is fucking Jadzia Dax. I don't know if you've reached this point.
Is that a fridging?
Don't get attached to Jadzia.
I mean, I know they.
It's a couple of things.
Yeah.
It is a fridging because she don't want to be on the show fucking anymore.
Well, but isn't fridging specifically
Rick Berman is a goddamn toxic asshole?
That's not fridging.
Fridging is when the female character is killed to motivate the male character. I don't think.
Yeah, it's for motivation. It's not for why it happens behind the scenes. I mean, because you can. I mean, that's a charisma.
Okay,
Oh,
it
yeah,
doesn't motivate.
yeah, charisma.
It doesn't motivate. It doesn't motivate. Worf.
Well, but
His
I mean,
pregnant
Worf.
But no,
wife is
that's
killed.
I mean the reason they did it was because she wanted an out
Yeah,
for the
She went
show,
off.
and
She went off the show.
they
Worf
wanted to
doesn't.
screw her over.
Worf doesn't kill Ducat. I mean,
No, he doesn't kill Ducat.
if Worf had killed Ducat like to avenge the death of his wife, then I think you could say, okay, they fridged her. But like,
But
yeah,
they
it
do
doesn't.
destroy that shipyard.
It. So
And then
okay,
he has all that weird stuff with Ezri.
Ezri, where yeah,
All that weird shit.
good for
Ezri
you,
breaks
Worf.
a lot of rules.
Good for you, Worf.
You're not supposed to have relationships with
and
your
good for
previous
you,
friends.
Ezri. I wish they had gotten together and Bashir would have just been standing there holding his dick again.
Again, as he so often does, huh?
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
I love his character, but it's like, fuck him. He doesn't need to get laid. Look, he's got everything else going for him. He doesn't need to get laid.
Says Steve.
Says Steve. I wanted in Picard for the Worf to say, "Oh, my last four dead wives." He just keeps going every single time he gets married. So they die like 3 years later.
Yep. Last wife actually stepped on a landmine.
I've been
knew
widowed
that?
9 times.
she went looking for that one.
Who knew those even existed anymore? She found one.
Oh, she did. That's why.
But according to Picard, Worf never has another relationship after that ever again.
No,
he's like, you know what? That's enough.
That's enough.
I'm not good for women. It doesn't end well.
Well, the idea is that Jadzia was the love of his life. And now that she's dead, he's never going to love anyone else. And because he's a Klingon, he fucking means that shit. And it's not going to happen again. I mean, even when he has sex with Ezri, he feels like he's cheated on Jadzia. Even though half of Ezri is Jadzia. So it's weird. It's weird.
Worf is a weirdo anyway. That's one of the reasons why
Don't get involved with a trill. Just don't get involved with a trill.
It's not going to end well for you.
You'll wind up fucking your own grandma.
Speaking of people getting laid, Sci-Fi Brony asks, does this imply that 23rd century girls are easier than 24th, or is it just that Steve's only social ability is through Jason? I kind of like that second suggestion.
It's kind of like his only social ability is through me.
Yeah.
Most of the 13 girlfriends that he stole away from me was during high school and when we were in the at Starfleet, not Starfleet headquarters, at the Academy.
Right.
The secret relationship that Jason had while Steven and Jason were apart was with number one on the Enterprise with
Pike. Yeah.
With Pike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, things happen that, that undo that and make it impossible. Because technically, on Enterprise, somewhere on board that ship is my character.
Yeah. Well, Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not Enterprise, Strange New Worlds.
Hanging out with your best friend, Captain Pike.
Best friend,
your favorite captain.
He made dinner for everybody. What do you
going
want?
Going to his dinner parties and hanging out with him.
Knew how to cook. I'm like Riker, where everything was like, okay, take your stomach in your own hands, because God knows.
Riker's like, have some scrambled eggs.
I don't know what eggs these are.
Pike throws like multi-course meals that he cooks himself for the crew, and they eat in his quarters. And Riker's like, "Come on over. You can split one scrambled egg 4 ways."
I think it's more than one scrambled egg, but it's like
maybe 2. But yeah, it's a very. He's like, "Here, just have some.
Here, eat some scrambled eggs." And it's like you came over to his quarters to do that.
To have scrambled. There's not even any toast or orange juice or nothing.
If I showed up at a friend's house and they said, "Here's some scrambled eggs," I'd punch them in the face. That's ridiculous. You said,
"That's
come
all
over
we
for
have."
dinner, and you're giving me a plate of scrambled eggs?
It's breakfast for dinner. What? You never heard of breakfast for dinner?
Oh, it means that fucking Riker's psychotic. He barely knows what cooking is, as near as I can tell.
He replicated a
hot plate and found some eggs like
I'm glad that they remembered they liked cooking for the fucking pizza oven that he has on that
That's right.
goddamn planet where her
He has a
him
pizza oven. Yeah,
and, that's right.
yeah.
There's a fun. Oh, where did Riker wind up? On some fucking planet with a dead kid and a wife and a pizza oven.
Making
like,
pizza.
Fuck you. Who's
Making
writing
pizza in a
this?
brick oven.
Why isn't he an admiral? Everyone saw Riker becoming an admiral eventually. Like, retire? What? No. How did his kid die of a robot disease? How was the robot supposed to...
That was a little contrived. It was like he had some kind of disease. There was a cure, but the cure had to be grown inside of a positronic brain or something. Yeah, it was like, oh, okay. Oh, well, boy, that's unlucky. That's unlucky.
Oh, darn. That's not a fucking contrivance.
No.
And
Fraser...
it's so nice that they've completely forgot about it, including the living kid that they had for
That's
season
true.
3.
That's true. I guess she's just with the babysitter for the entire time.
She's just running. They left her on that planet pretending to be an Indian for the rest of the.
She's just shooting rabbits with a bow and arrow and having a great time.
On a planet that's so dangerous that he has shields around the house.
He has shields around.
Raiders are coming back. Where in the hell do you live?
This is the planet you retired to with your sick child?
This is a Federation planet, right? How do they have raiders?
Yeah. It's far. It's way out on the edge.
They're living on the edge.
They're living on the edge. Exactly.
Stop. Both of you. Knock it off.
Fraserx01 says, will Jason have access to any latent knowledge from evil Jason because Vulcan brain? I mean, he must have learned so much. Or is all the memory bound to the consciousness that has been erased?
It's bound to the consciousness that's been erased. However, Jason suffers from nightmares. That hasn't come up, but he does suffer from nightmares then, which are latent memories of evil Jason. So, because evil Jason backed a lot of living into that body. So
yes, he did.
Of course, it can't be, because one of the things that I was kind of uncomfortable with was the idea that Jason had an immortal body that was super strong, and there were no drawbacks. And this year, there's drawbacks. There's going to be drawbacks for it. So,
well, I mean, the fact, I think also the fact that he's the one who questions himself all the time, and I think that's that is a drawback, especially an ironic drawback given his power. The fact that he's always questioning and doubting himself, on the other hand, if we had given Steve that body.
Oh, God, no. Steve would be punching everybody out.
I can't be trusted with that
funsies.
Kind of power.
Hey, watch this. Bam.
No.
You just killed another one. That's okay. We got lots of those.
Yeah. Well, Steve can't be trusted with that. No.
Steve's wild boasts cannot be backed up. One of my funniest things is to have Steve suddenly, one of my favorite things ever is that he spent half a season boasting about how he could take Worf out.
Oh, yeah.
That was fun. That was so much fun.
When it came to the time for him to man up and fight Worf, he tried to find every reason to not show up to fight him.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, he is stupid, but he's not that stupid.
Right, exactly.
When it comes to self-preservation, he's pretty smart.
Right.
My favorite running gag with Steve that we haven't done for a while, and I'm glad we haven't because I don't want to run it into the ground or turn it into like a catchphrase or something. Yeah, but we did it a lot in the earlier seasons, and then we've kind of let it rest for a while. Is the bit that he does where he walks up to like an enemy and tries to intimidate them and force them to back down. Like he thinks that he can just walk up and act like a tough guy and back them down, and it never works.
Right.
But he always seems so sure it's going to work. Like the next time it comes around, he's like, "Let me handle this. Listen here, motherfucker."
I think we're going to bring that. We're going to bring that back, and that time it works, and you get scared.
What does this mean?
What? This has never happened before.
Or no, I go completely the other direction, and I'm like, man wasn't meant to have this power.
What power? He just told you, okay, he'll make the milkshake your way. I mean, I don't understand.
This morning I was just a human being, and now I am a god.
I'm not sure that's how that works. I'm not
sure that's how that It's Steven.
Here's a good question. Another one from the Noam Chomsky. Are you still planning on doing Zounds, Madam, the ribald adventures of Sherlock Holmes?
That's all I ever think about now. Yes. Yes, I still think I don't think it's called Zounds. I think it's just called Zounds. Or I've played with the other one, Gazook, but I don't know Gazooks.
Or
That's
what
just-
ho?
I always thought it was good.
The ribald adventures of Holmes and Watson. But we're refocusing it so that Dana can be in it, and the central character is, their housekeeper,
Mrs. Hudson.
Mrs. Hudson, who routinely murders people. Who routinely murders people and covers up a lot of their crimes.
She's like the anti-Jessica Fletcher. She's
She's like the anti-Jessica
she's
Fletcher.
the sweet old lady who commits the crime instead of solving the crime.
You ever notice that they never include the scene where Holmes gets paid for what he does? Who do you think does that
No.
shit? It's Mrs. Hudson.
She's
one
like,
that- It's the
where's
money and
Mr. Holmes'
deposits
money?
it.
Give Mr. Holmes wants his money, and she starts smacking
Hello,
people. up.
hello. So you thought you could have Mr. Holmes do a little service for you without paying? And she whips out this blackjack, hits him over the
That's
head.
not how these things work, friend.
Oh, I love the idea of Mrs. Hudson referring to someone as friend in like a tough guy way.
She actually controls the boys, the
Irregulars, the Baker
the
Street
irregulars?
yeah.
and they open the door. What's this? And they all stream in and start thrashing the place.
Get him, boys! Oh.
All right. Yes.
Air One Fire said, wait, hang on, we got another super chat from Comet Quest. Will you revisit Jason and Tina's marriage with the Crab God?
Yes. I want the
crab-
crab god to come back.
The Crab God Jimmy. And what was the,
The
yeah,
crab
who was
god
that? What-
Jimmy.
the Crab God didn't actually appear. It was the little crab guy who married them, and I can't remember.
I can't
what
remember
named
his
him.
name is. Or I can't.
I'll
remember
have
his
to go
name
back
either.
and re-listen to the episode. But yeah,
Mhm.
the guy, it was like Aloysius or something. I can't remember what his name was, but
I think what
Um,
we're going to discover is that those. So the problem is that Tina and Jason traveled ahead to the future.
right.
They traveled 700 years into the future and got married. So technically, that character isn't alive for a very long time.
Right.
However, I think what's going to happen is that a lot of those crabs are going to start showing up at Steve's bar expecting free drinks because he has to do it because the crab got Jimmy. And you're like, but that was Jason. That was Jason, not me. And they're like, you're the friend of Jason? Yes, give us free drinks. And they're like, no.
These crabs are drinking me out of business.
Exactly.
I threw in a reference to the Crab God in my last Starfleet Jobs video where I was the Starfleet
Did you
chaplain.
really? I didn't see it.
The Starfleet chaplain, he's talking about like different religions throughout
Uh-huh.
the galaxy, and he says, rumor has it that the so and so people of planet whatever believe that their god is destined to have a battle for the fate of the universe with a crab god named Jimmy. Air One Fire says, would you make an episode where Jason and Steve have a transporter accident and what comes out is J Steve or Stason? I think that'd be hilarious.
That would be hilarious, but how
That
would
would
we
be-
do it? We'd
Well,
have to bring in another actor to play us.
Or we
You
could
just get the
like,
AI.
Wow.
yeah. Or it could come out like it mixes us up. So there is J Steve and Stason, and each of us just takes one. And like
What,
one
we
of them
come
is a
out
little
as a two-headed, multi-limbed beast.
Oh,
or we're still...
that's it. We're two-headed. We're a two-headed monster, and like, yeah. There you go. There you go.
Except Steve's head is where my ass should be. Steve's. So we can't sit down. It's a hell. It's a living hell.
Fraserx01 says Dana still defending those murdering whales is just hilarious. Well,
They were done wrong.
Dana is a
done wrong.
person of
Okay,
strong
in
convictions.
fairness, the conviction was fine, but the way that they were treated during their confinement was not right. That is not what the Federation stands for, and it is important to
they've been forced to perform in front of other Starfleet personnel. Nice little pond. They get fish.
They basically Starfleet restart SeaWorld. But it's like in the more recent Jurassic Park movies where they're like, we'll fix all the mistakes of the past, and this time it'll be perfect.
That's right. This time it's great.
Air One Fire says, can you guys do your George Lucas and Robert Zemeckis voices as characters on the show?
I don't know if I want to do that.
My Robert Zemeckis is just me yelling, though, basically.
It really is.
It's not really a voice. It's just like me being really belligerent.
Hey, Robert, how come we didn't have the scene with how come you didn't have the scene with Forrest Gump and his girlfriend having sex for the first time when they were like 5? That would have been so hard.
Isn't that Plobo?
It's pretty much Plobo.
It's close to, yeah.
The one who does a really great impression of George Lucas is actually my brother.
Oh, really?
He's the one that did. Oh, yeah, he did it on when he guested on Late
Oh,
CA.
that's right, he did. Yes.
Oh. Sure, we'll work him in. Why not? Fuck him.
Fuck it. Travis Coyle says, will we hear from Dana's good friend Stevini Johnsoni again?
I think that should be Steve's fallback. Anytime he needs to pretend to be someone else over the comm.
Yeah. And I think he should get the name different every time. Like he should, like he can't remember that it was Stevini Johnsoni. So
I like the idea that Steve's imagination is so limited that that's the only false voice that he can think of.
Sometimes it's Stevoni Johnsini.
Stevini Johnsini.
It's me. Stevini Johnsoni.
Because there's going to be definitely times where Steve is trying to avoid people, and he's going to be getting on the phone. And it's going to be a character that used to convince his mom that he wasn't there when his mom would call. No, this is his roommate, Stevini Johnsoni. And then we'll, of course, have a real Stevini Johnsoni. But come aboard the
There'll be a real Stevini. Like the Simpsons episode where the guy who looks exactly like Homer comes into the bar and they think it's Homer just fucking with him, so they throw him out and beat him up. And then Homer like walks up and sees him laying unconscious on the sidewalk, and he's like, "Oh my God, this man is my exact double. Oh my God, this dog has a puffy tail," and he runs off and chases the dog and completely forgets about it. What do Baby and the skin tag people do in Dana's body? That's ASDF 53714. Dana, do you have any idea what those
what do your passengers do?
What the passengers do when they're not expressing themselves?
Right.
Oh, they're expressing themselves all the time. Yeah. Like it's just chitter chatter in there.
But they're experiencing the things that Dana experiences. It's not like they're limited to just sitting in the dark talking to each other. They see things through her eyes, hears things through her ears. It's just
But you know, typically, unless I'm incapacitated, they don't have, you know, they're just along for the ride.
Yeah. Hence, passengers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Air One Fire says, evil Spot makes me feel uncomfortable. Well,
he's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable.
Guess what?
That's the idea.
Evil.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the point of it. That he's a cute little dog who is also like the most evil person who has ever lived.
To have ever existed, ever.
Yeah. But Steve just has a soft spot for him, you know?
Because Steve is simple. And all he sees, no matter... Spot has literally told him to his face that he is responsible for the deaths of billions of life forms.
With a B.
Steve can't. Yeah. Steve just sees a cute dog with a horn. That's all he ever sees.
But he's cute.
I know. That's just it. He's cute.
Arcane Flame says, wondering if someone will confuse Poncho's Happy Bottom Riding Club with the one near Edwards Air Force Base, or if Steve gets a notice that he has to pay a bunch of franchise fees at some point.
Well, if Poncho? If you bother to watch the right stuff, we all know it burned down in the 1950s.
Yeah. He said, well, and Poncho's dead. Who am I? Who am
Poncho's
I
way
paying
dead,
fees to?
so, I mean,
Who am I paying rights fees to?
Dana disappeared.
Oh, Dana. Oh no.
She hated that Poncho's question.
Oh, here she
now
is.
she's back.
She's back.
And to look, nothing's changed. She came back on, flipping us off
Yeah.
for whatever reason. Yes.
I'm looking for more questions. Okay, don't give me that look.
Okay, could you do it faster? God damn it!
Wow, just
Apparently, I don't think he can.
I know he can't.
Unbelievable.
He's looking for his name. He's waiting to see one that has his name in it.
Exactly. Exactly. Travis Coyle, this is nice. He says, please do more live episodes or Patreon episodes where we can see you guys. Oh,
no, that'll be weird though.
No.
Why not? It'd be easy.
We can do more live streams with the three of us anytime the three of us want to do it. I'm happy to do that as often as
Dana's
I
the one that doesn't want to do them.
That's true.
You're such a terrible
whenever
liar.
we don't do things that we want to do, it's always Dana.
It's always Dana's fault. Yeah.
She hurts us.
It's usually Steve's fault.
She's violent.
See, with Jason and me, it's because we have lives.
That's true.
We do have people that
lives.
we care about, and
we go out in public and we talk to people. We know what sunshine feels like on our skin and what grass feels like in between our toes.
We've made it 90 minutes and now they're starting to turn on me.
We can have a pleasant conversation with a stranger at a supermarket.
I could, but why would I ever want to?
Instead of screaming no and running away with the cart.
Leaving my food there, just like fleeing the store, not even. I don't need bread that bad. I'm out of here.
I don't want the entire thing. Yeah, you don't want to jumping in your pickup truck and
I flip it over.
DoorDash on the way home.
I flip it over so they can't follow me. I flip the cart over.
Why must you strangers keep ruining this?
I just want to be able to move through the world unaccosted. Is that too much?
I just asked him I liked his hat and where could I get one, and he just freaked out at me and
leave me alone. And I just run away.
Can someone help that cripple he knocked over as he tried to flee?
Jason, we don't call people cripples.
What do we call them? Gimps?
Oh, wow. And canceled. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed 6 seasons of the Ensign's Log, everybody, because we can't do any more.
The way age is showing.
Disabled people.
The differently abled person?
Disabled person or person with disabilities.
Depending on, I mean, you could just go over to him, ask him his name, and call him that.
This made-up person I did for a cruel joke against Steve?
His name is Jonathan.
Okay, fine, Jonathan. Should I give him a backstory too?
Nah, it's not that important.
I'm going to give him one. How about this? Jonathan, the only reason Jonathan is differently abled is because he sucked up too much Agent Orange when he was in fucking Vietnam.
So he's he's a disabled veteran, and I shoved him down on my way out of the store.
And Steve blindly pushed him down as he fled because someone talked to him while he was at the grocery store.
So I plowed over a disabled Vietnam veteran on my way out of the store because someone spoke to me.
Whenever you're in public, even if someone said "excuse me," you just scream to the heavens, drop whatever you're holding, and run directly back to your truck.
I just go fucking like Roadrunner in the opposite direction.
Is there anyone listening anymore?
No, they're still here.
Okay.
Someone Ghost Wheel for the forthcoming Sherlock Holmes podcast. Ghost Wheel pitches that Dana and presumably Mrs. Hudson should secretly be Moriarty.
Oh damn! I like that.
Well, somebody's got to drum up business.
Yeah. So she makes up somebody. That's perfect.
To be the nemesis.
Yeah.
Because
commit the crime.
If Watson and Holmes are in the house much longer, she's going to murder both of them. Because secretly, she can't stand them. Like, one is a fuddy-duddy, and the other one is an eccentric heroin addict. She just needs them out of the house.
I do like that because usually in the more modern, like, interpretations of Holmes where they've tried to make Mrs. Hudson a bit more of a character.
No.
They've leaned into like, well, she's very loyal to Holmes and Watson, and she's like like a third member of the team, and I like the idea that she secretly hates them. And
I
she
like
just
the idea
keeps them
that
around because she needs the money for the flat rent or something.
every time she makes tea for them, her hand is resting on a bottle of arsenic for an extraordinarily long period of time. And she's like, they'll hang you. They'll hang you if you do it.
Is today gonna be the day?
Is this it? Is this the moment?
Is this where it all takes a turn?
Do I dare to live my dream?
CMAX says, so did Steve learn to love climbing trees just to avoid people? No.
Yes, he did. He got scared.
What
of
other
them.
reason is there?
I learned.
He saw a happy family walking towards him, and he went, "Fuck!" And he ran.
I learned to love climbing trees because I had an awesome tree in my backyard when I grew up. I had like a 100-foot pine tree in my backyard, and I would climb that fucking thing all the time.
Oh. Yeah. When do you get to the part of the book where you chop it down and you just sit on the stump?
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet. You
Okay.
mean where I grew up to be a huge piece of shit?
he just turned into a fantastically huge asshole.
That's the part we're in now.
I really hate that book. I
The
really
heartwarming
do.
ending where the kid grows up to
But
be a
it's like,
massive piece of
look,
shit.
The main character's a boomer, and you're like, "Oh, okay, now I get it."
You've given me everything, and I've come to take even more.
Mhm.
True story.
Oh, this Dataport doll has some additional backstory for Jonathan, the disabled Vietnam veteran that I pushed over.
Golly.
Jonathan just won an award for least likely to be tipped over in his wheelchair that morning from City Hall.
Okay, you
So
put him in a wheelchair. I pictured him in Jerusalem crutches, but okay.
It's even more tragic.
On his first day of actually using them successfully.
Yeah. Oh, and now it's
Back to the VA for Jonathan. Thanks, Steve.
It's all my fault. Don't blame me. Blame the person who tried to talk to me.
Don't blame me. Blame somebody else.
Blame social people.
Exactly. Blame well-adjusted humans. Here's a good question from Kane20C. When is Dana going to guest on Late Seating?
Never. Oops.
Hey, I will say I have offered. I have offered.
Did you? What did you offer?
Yes, I've said I would absolutely be glad to come in. I'll provide a different perspective.
Sure.
Yeah,
for what movie?
And what is that perspective, Dana?
The person who hasn't seen the movie.
Exactly. And that's why you haven't been brought on yet. That's something about
what
Dana
are we
that
talking about now? Yeah,
people might not know this about Dana, but Dana is perfectly willing, and in fact, sometimes it seems even eager to offer her opinion on things that she knows absolutely nothing about.
Sure.
That's why I'm such a good teacher.
I think that's the most sexist joke I've ever said in my entire fucking life.
What did you say?
I said, of course, she's a woman.
Oh boy.
It's okay, Jason.
Boy.
We were ignoring you as usual.
I know.
Boy, ableist, misogynist. You're just running down the list, aren't you?
Yep. I want no listeners by the end of this podcast.
I want to alienate everybody.
And I want everyone to go, how in the fuck is that ableist, ageist, womanizing, misogynist Steve's best friend?
Because
and then they look at Steve and they're like, "Oh, I get
it." because he's incredibly funny, and I forgive everything.
Yeah, I guess so.
As long as Jason is funny, I'm like, Steve, I had a psychotic break yesterday. I killed my entire family. Oh, really? Oh man, that's too bad.
Well, Steve's like, I didn't like him anyhow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay, man. I'd be
You're
like,
free.
that's okay, man. You look on the bright side.
Yeah, bright side. You're free now. In prison, you're gonna have plenty of time to record your podcast.
You can record a prison podcast now.
Yay!
How about that? Travis Coyle asks, "How has Atticus been?"
Atticus has been fine. Atticus is going to be a nurse soon. He's going to be making all the money. I'm going to move in with Atticus. Push his husband out of the way. Like, I live here now. Atticus is great.
I'm assuming my birthright.
That's right. That's an old time listener. We haven't made a podcast in a while.
Let me finish. Yeah.
Hmm?
Sci-Fi Brony suggests Moriarty is made up by Mrs. Hudson to keep those two idiots out of trouble.
Yeah.
Give them someone to fight that I know they can beat.
Except it accidentally gets Sherlock Holmes killed for a little while.
Yeah.
Temporarily.
Temporarily. until they threw enough money at Doyle.
Oh,
to be
yeah.
like,
Doyle
right,
was like, okay, I'll bring him back.
All right. I do like money.
I killed the cash cow too soon.
But you're not interested in reading my other work? No? Really?
No, stop it. It's like,
yeah.
Edgar Rice Burroughs should have stopped after Tarzan, but did he listen? No.
Nope.
Then he combined John Carter and Tarzan together.
I was going to say that some of Burroughs' other stuff was pretty successful, wasn't it? I mean, it's not like Tarzan was his only.
John Carter of Mars books were very successful.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Andy Lawler says, if you're trying to alienate everyone, does that mean it's time for Late Seating to tackle Schindler's List?
I just wanted to end our shows, both of them at the same time. Sure. If you want to unleash that beast, Jesus. Here's the thing. Steve and I have made a joke about making jokes about Schindler's List.
Yeah.
But I don't think we could literally sit down. Okay, I don't. Steve and I could literally sit down and watch Schindler's List and make jokes to each other.
Could. Yeah.
Alone in a dark room where no one can hear us. Then we'll both feel bad at the end.
Nope.
And then that would be...
Dana's like,
you would feel bad. Steve
would feel bad. Steve would not. Steve was like, "Oh, we did it. We got the poison out. Yay!
We made fun of Schindler's List. Yay! Aren't you proud of us?" I don't think we're ever going to do that. Because like we've both done like really sick, really dark jokes.
Yes, we have.
Late Seating before.
Yes, we have. We've done very sick, very dark jokes.
Yeah, but like, Schindler's List, like, it's one thing to criticize Schindler's List as a film and to like, if you want to make an argument that it's not a good movie and make a serious like critique of it, that's fine. But to mock it and make fun of it, that feels like, I don't know. That's a very narrow path. You know what I mean? That's threading a needle. To make fun of it in a way that doesn't come across as just horribly, horribly offensive and insensitive. Yeah. So maybe we'll do we'll do a completely straight episode of Late Seating where we don't make any jokes.
No,
we don't make fun of anything about the movie.
No.
Noam Chomsky has a good suggestion. How about doing Val Lewton movies for Halloween one year?
Remind the old man who's Val Lewton.
Oh, they were cat people, and like the RKO horror movies that they were making around the same time as Universal was doing the Universal monster.
I think Cat People is the most recognizable one. I think
Cat People is the most memorable one. I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It has the famous bus scene. That's the original jump scare. Is the bus scene.
Yeah. And there's sort of, I guess it's because of like the conceit of Late Seating where they have to be classics. A lot of people who are film people know the Val Lewton films and consider them classics, but they're not nearly as well known by the public as like the Universals.
As the big ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like nobody, Cat People. Maybe people might recognize the name Cat People, or if they do, they might remember the Nastasia Kinski version, the remake. They might not know the original, or they might not even know it is a remake.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, by the way, Jason,
no,
I learned some just shocking news last week.
What?
Dana has not seen Jaws.
Oh yeah.
I've been doing a podcast with her for how long? I just find this out now?
I just found it out too. I'm as shocked as you are.
You've known her even
Why?
longer than I have.
I know I have. How do you think I
Like
feel?
20 years or something.
No.
How in the hell have you not seen Jaws, Dana?
Like this. I'm doing other stuff. And it includes, you know what it includes? Not watching Jaws.
Not see one of the greatest movies ever made. This is why you're never invited on to late seating. It's going to be like, okay, well, unless it's a Disney movie, which, by the way, you're going to be invited for the next Disney movie that we just fucking thrash. Because we've entered into the era of fucking the Disney Renaissance, starting with The Little Mermaid, although some people argue it was Great Mouse Detective. No, it was The Little Mermaid. That made I love The Great Mouse Detective. But
yeah, it's really good.
Made all the money and is what started that whole thing off again. So we'll bring you on when we start.
The Little Mermaid is what made pretty much the rest of the Disney movies possible.
Oh yeah. Anyway, we're now talking about things that Steve does not give a shit about.
Well, no, but we've done Disney movies before.
We've done one Disney movie.
We did Pinocchio.
We did 2 Disney movies. We did
Jungle Book. Yeah. We did Pinocchio, which is probably the best one.
Yeah, it is.
So
it is the best one.
The best Disney movie ever?
Yes.
Best animated,
Disney
I think.
movie.
Yeah, I think
Period.
so. Yeah, it's
no. The best Disney movie is Escape to Witch Mountain, or The Computer That Wore Tennis Shoes,
or Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, man. Oh,
the black hole.
I love the black hole. You shut your mouth. You shut your filthy mouth.
Man.
And the best robots in there. God damn it. You just watch yourself.
You did say The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. That is a favorite.
Who cares if they don't have an ending? The black hole. And then when the black hole, the end. They're like, what the hell happened?
And then they went into the black hole, the end. Oh, Clone of Jonathan is like, not even the black hole yet? We did Tron already. Fraser X01 says Tron.
Yeah.
We did Tron. Yeah, we did Tron.
But Disney was so not involved in that movie that it was like, we'll give you money, but we're not going to help you out. You get none of our animators. We'll release it, and it's technically a Disney movie, but we're not helping you. So
yes, exactly. Oh, CMAC has a good question. Again, another late seating question. This has become a late seating live stream.
Yeah, it's become the late seating podcast.
It's all in the family. Is there another movie that's as sacrosanct in terms of not being mocked as Schindler's List?
Color Purple?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Showa?
Showa.
Like that's a documentary, but still, I mean, it's
still something that we won't touch.
Yeah.
Not as a full movie, but I mean, I've heard you can just sing it.
The main thing are things based on real things that have happened.
Yeah.
So, The Killing Fields. That's
The Blind Side.
We're never gonna shut up.
The Blind Side. Yeah, no, please, nobody make fun of that movie.
She's never
please.
seen Jaws, but she's seen The Blind Side.
The Help.
No. I honestly don't know if I have seen The Blind Side. Why do I know that?
Because you're a Sandra Bullock super fan.
I really do like Sandra Bullock's work, but I don't think I qualify as a super fan. No, I know why.
Why?
Somebody suggested that we watch it as a companion piece to reading The Other Wes Moore. And I was just like, what? What do you mean?
Oh, The Blind Side. Yeah, The Blind Side.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, we'll see if there's time.
And we're out of time.
Yeah.
We found other activities that I deemed more instructionally effective.
Yeah.
I
mean, everyone saw what I went through when we did Downfall.
Yeah, Downfall was tough enough. Yeah. Air One Fire says, I thought about recommending Showa for the viewer's choice.
Oh my God.
Isn't Showa's like 5 hours long, man?
It's a very long documentary.
Like,
yes.
I mean, I think everybody should watch it, but like.
But did it make money?
Showa?
Yeah,
Yes.
after all,
I mean,
they do say there's no business like show business.
Oh God! See, now maybe we should have.
Okay, I'm just gonna kill myself right here on the podcast. Jesus.
Who in their bingo card had Dana making the fucking
The
offensive
awful,
Holocaust joke?
The awful pun.
And also, the Noam Chomsky says, "Come and see," which we've talked about on the show, but
Oh
never,
yeah, Come and See is
never,
probably never going to be
yeah.
reviewed on this. I mean, come on,
never
guys.
done a show of it. Yeah.
Have you seen
Yeah.
Come and See? Can you picture two idiots just yucking their way
Riffing
through
on
Come
it?
and See?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Showa is 9 hours long, by the way. Not
9
5
hours.
hours
Thank
long.
you.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
God, yeah, no, I don't.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
just
things that are based on real events and very long, Roots.
that's a TV series, though.
Yeah, that's a TV
Right,
series.
but also probably not something in the, gonna have a spot on Saturday Night Live.
Unless
No.
it's Steve's choice, we don't do TV movies. If it's not for his birthday.
Well, but I have to challenge you a little bit. We did because are you thinking of the He-Man movie?
I know it was released in theaters.
That was released in theaters.
They were so fucking high on cocaine. They said,
I saw it. I saw it in the theater.
Yes, while your mother contemplated either suicide
Yes.
or aborting your brother while sitting in a movie theater.
Or going back in time and aborting you.
Yeah.
I can't bring another child into this.
She goes back in time and literally punches herself in the stomach.
Yeah. Oh, and Mental Ward, yes. If you have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat.
Yes.
And so actually someone mentioned something earlier. They said David C. Drake said Seinfeld, what's the deal with genocide? There actually is a really funny Schindler's List joke in an episode of Seinfeld. Was it Jerry or Elaine? I can't. It's been a while since I saw. But one of the characters, I think it was Jerry. It was Jerry because his parents were appalled that Jerry's Jewish, and he went to see Schindler's List, and he made out with his date while they were watching Schindler's List in the theater. So it wasn't quite what's the deal, but it was. I thought it was a really funny bit in that episode that he makes out with his date during Schindler's List, and his parents are like absolutely appalled. How could you do it, Jerry? CMX says, was Blues Brothers a Steve's birthday? No, Blues Brothers was a.
That would have been my birthday, but that was.
Blues
and
Brothers
besides, Blues Brothers is probably the best out of all the SNL movies.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's kind of slim pickings, but even so, it's definitely the
it's
best.
very slim pickings. The less of the Mike Myers movies we do on our show, the better.
What are some other good Saturday Night Live? There's I like both Wayne's World movies.
Fuck you.
I know that's Mike Myers, but I like both Wayne's World movies. MacGruber, I have a soft spot for MacGruber.
Didn't watch it. Didn't see it.
MacGruber.
Because you love MacGyver, and MacGruber,
I do love MacGyver. Yeah.
You're still wondering why they never made a MacGyver movie.
They made 2 MacGyver TV movies.
Yeah, those don't count. Those are on
TV. And they're even for MacGyver, they're not all that great.
There you go.
I still own them on Blu-ray though.
That's great. I'm glad. Oh boy. Okay, I'm glad you own them on Blu-ray, Steve.
I own the entire series on Blu-ray.
That's great. You also have radio shows on cassette tape. Jesus Christ, we've moved past Blu-ray.
Okay, sorry.
If you ever see any of his videos while he's in his living room, there's just a massive rack of antiquated technology that I assume you watch every once in a while.
Every once in a while. Usually, I mean, I don't buy stuff on physical media now unless it's either something that like I really, really, really love, or it's something that I discovered like isn't available streaming anywhere, and it's something that I really like and want to be able to watch whenever I feel like it.
Sure.
Arcane Flame says, what about the terrible Confederate Lost Cause film Gods and Generals?
That's never gonna happen unless Steve really pisses me off.
Yeah,
because this is also painful for me. We're never gonna review that movie.
Well, it doesn't it's not. I don't think it's considered a classic,
but it is.
And it's not
god awful.
It's terrible. I saw it in the theater. and it had a an intermission, and I almost left during intermission. It was so bad. It was so
But
boring.
he was gonna wring his money's worth out of that movie as best he could. So
He doesn't want to let the movie win.
That's true. Well, and the reason I went to see Gods and Generals was, well, there were two reasons. First, I thought Gettysburg was good,
sure.
and Gods and Generals was actually partially filmed in this area because you know, there's like it deals.
And you thought you were gonna be in it?
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, well, there's very little of the Battle of Antietam actually in the movie, but they did shoot like Battle of Antietam stuff that just wound up not making the cut. Which, boy, how bad was it? Because that fucking movie is like 4 hours long, and they cut out the Battle of Antietam. But you know, so I thought, well, I'll go see it. Like, and about, you know, I got to the intermission, and I seriously thought, like, I should just go. Like, this is terrible.
You've never walked out of a movie, have you?
I've never walked out of a movie. No, but that was the closest I've ever come.
I don't feel walking out of a movie and getting your money back is not the movie winning. That is you winning.
Wait, walking out of the movie and getting your money back?
What if you don't get your money back? What if the theater? What if the teenager at the box office says,
"If you get a free pass for something that hopefully will be good, great." But I walked out of the re-release of the Return of the Jedi. As soon as that fucking weirdo started singing at Jabba's palace, I said, "I'm out. I'm done."
Lips McManus or whatever the fuck his name was.
Lips McManus. Oh, yes, I remember collecting his action figure. Lips McManus, the furry booger from the re-release of Return to the Jedi. I was literally feeling like Lucas was like, well, fuck your memories. And I was like, I don't need to watch this. I don't need to watch this.
It was like the first dawning realization among Star Wars fans. Like, oh, he's not a genius.
I ate my popcorn, waiting at the bus for the bus stop, going, okay, well, what am I going to do with the rest of my day off? Because this is awful. It was full. It was terrible.
Aw.
Steve, you should feel empowered when you don't give something your money or attention.
See, you sound like Dana. Now you're ganging up on me again.
How am I ganging up on you? I'm spitting truth, man. If she spits the same thing, she's spitting truth. What does that say about you, Steve? You're a glutton for punishment.
That he doesn't like spit.
How many seasons of fucking that Teen Titans show did you watch?
Just two of them. Just two. And I haven't watched. I think they did two more before they finally ended it, and I didn't watch any more.
Cut me, keep cutting me. I love it. Keep cutting me.
I can take it. David C. Drake calls you Jason, the toxic Star Wars fan.
Thank you.
But you're an OG toxic fan. You're shitting on the special editions. You were toxic from way back. You're not like one of these Johnny come latelys.
If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. I mean, that's just basically it.
Next, you have to say Han shot first.
Well, Han did shoot first. What are you talking about?
Don't we love that argument? I mean, I agree.
Talking about my generation.
I agree he did shoot first, but it's like at this point, it's like, who fucking cares?
I do, because it looks stupid.
At this point, it's like everybody knows that's how it is. You know, that's. I mean, it's kind of like when we talk about, you know, oh, they shouldn't have, like, you know, when there's a book that's made into a movie or a movie that's remade, it's like, oh, they ruined thus and such. No, they didn't. Just like, I mean, that's why, you know, George Lucas re-released Star Wars and changed things, and then collectively we went, that's not how it happened.
Why the fuck did you do that? Why are you doing this?
Yep.
Well, I need money so I can make more movies to make more money. I was like, okay, whatever. Disrespect your audience of the last two generations who've loved the way the movies were and put out the special edition and say, oh no, we added more bonus bullshit. And that's all it is. It's just bonus bullshit.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't know.
What? I mean, you don't know.
I mean, I'm not. I agree with you. I don't think I much prefer the originals to the special editions, and we both don't. I think all three of us.
What if someone decided, okay, now we're re-releasing the X-Files, but now with plot, and you're like, what?
Now with plot. Mulder and Scully are gonna fuck in every single episode.
That's right. That's the most disappointing thing is when they're angling them towards a romantic relationship. Why can't they just be friends? Why can't they just be teammates? Why do we have to push them together? They are so different from one another. How in the fuck could this porn-loving weirdo be in love with the super conservative, religious partner? And I was just like, God damn it.
They do. I mean, their chemistry is so great. But I mean, from being a Star Trek and a Star Wars fan, there are certain fans of both franchises, and I'm sure of everything, that just like any relationship between any two characters that is not explicitly romantic or sexual in the thing, they insist that actually it is, or it should be. Like, I mean, the classic example is Kirk and Spock. And I made a whole video about it. I have no problem with people shipping Kirk and Spock for their own amusement or enjoyment, but
Sure.
like, it's not in the show.
It's not.
It's not in the show. It's something that you've brought to it, which again is completely fine. I think it's great, but it's not in the show. They're not boyfriend and boyfriend. They're friends. They're just friends.
Yeah.
They
didn't get married.
They didn't get married.
Kirk's last words were not "tell Spock," and then I'm like, "What?
Cut out my heart and give it to Spock."
I really wanted Picard to die in the last season of Picard.
Do you think Patrick Stewart said? Do you think Patrick Stewart said no?
He wanted more money. He wanted the possibility of continue to make money off of Picard.
We have to do another film.
Why? So they could just lie in bed the entire time? Or they just wheel him out in a gurney?
He's strapped to a board. He's strapped to a board and they just prop him up. And he's like, make it so.
He's going to be in his own beep chair eventually where he's just wheeled out. The Patrick Stewart estate. We got to put him in something. And he just wheels up.
But it just...
up at the ceiling.
But instead of beeps, it just says Picard catchphrases, like one of those dolls where you pull the string. It's like a Pee Wee Herman doll, but it's Captain Picard in a beep chair.
Yeah. And everyone should be terrified. All you Star Trek fans, need to be terrified of AI. You just need to be because they have no qualms of digging up the dead and coming up with, if they could perfect AI in which they can make up whatever they want, expect a season 4 and 5 of the original Star Trek. As expected.
Oh, yeah.
They're waiting for everyone to be dead. That's probably what they're waiting for. And then they immediately, as soon as the last man standing is probably going to be Shatner. How much you want to make a bet?
I feel like he probably is, because he's 92 and he looks like he's about 55. I don't know what the fuck's going on there.
Mercurochrome. All them babies. That's what...
Yeah, that's right. Yes, of course. Yes, he's part of Pizzagate.
As soon as they don't have to spend money on residuals and only have to pay an estate for the use of people's likenesses, boom, they're going to feed all of the original series into a fucking computer, and it's going to spit out two more seasons of fucking Enterprise of Star Trek, the original.
Star Trek, yeah.
Because we've determined, Paramount has no imagination on where to take any of its stuff. It just doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know what they have planned. Picard's over. Discovery's over. They fucking canceled Prodigy and it had to be picked up by somebody else. And it's going to be on Netflix for pity's sake.
Yeah.
Well, they have left is Strange New Worlds, which is, again, I like the show, but it's rehash. Yeah. So it's like
they're doing the Starfleet Academy show.
Sure.
Yeah, it's gonna depend on what gets set forth on contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If they're not allowed to use, AI for anything other, I mean, if they're allowed to continue to use AI for background characters, I mean, I don't think the guilds will let it go past there.
Doesn't matter, Dana. We've discussed this on Lake Seating. The genie is out of the bottle. We already know what they're planning. It's not just going to be background characters. It's going to be actors are not going to appear in films. They are going to give permission for the use of their likeness. And they're going to sign a contract that says, you pay me this amount of money and you can use my likeness and my voice. They don't even have to record or do anything. They just sign a contract, and they're going to be in a movie that AI is going to generate. And they're like, Sharon Stone, when she was 28, is in this new whatever. They approve the script, they sign a contract, and the studio pays them a certain amount of money. Well, that's going to be it. Or if the actor's dead, they're going to pay the estate. Who's paying the estate of James Dean? When is that movie going to come out? The one that has James Dean in it?
I haven't heard anything about that. That was like a big story when they first announced it.
I mean, they're not walking up to his grave and throwing money on it. Someone's getting paid for that.
They're burying like a box of cash.
Tomorrow used
Olivier. Yeah,
but I mean, kinda. But I mean, yeah.
So I mean, the
and Brando and Superman Returns, although that was like just reused footage, basically.
Yeah, reused footage. Yeah, exactly. And so, but we're now talking about just orchestrating entire performances and both vocal and visual, completely generated by AI. And not even someone in a mocap suit. We're talking about entire movies. Steve and I talked about this. Entire movies created by a guy pressing a button on a box and saying, we want this actor's likeness and face, we want this actor's likeness and face, and we want make this kind of movie. Make an action adventure film. Make us, and Star Trek will have this huge box of material. They'll feed it into the fucking AI monster, and it'll start pooping out series or movies.
Yeah. So we've been going for 2 hours.
Who cares?
So
shut up.
Steve apparently does. He's the one who brought it up.
We can keep going if you want.
No, we can keep going.
We can keep going if you want. I'm just saying. I was going to say if anybody
Dana's been reading a book or something this entire time.
If people have questions they haven't asked yet, either about the Ensign's log or
this is your 2-minute warning.
Anything in general, throw out your questions, and we'll get to some more questions, and then we'll start pulling this train into the station. There's a couple of questions in the chat that we haven't talked about yet. Bloody William asks, what is the best DC animated series?
Oh, Jesus. Well, I'm always going to have a soft spot for the original Batman.
That's what I would say, too. Dana, what do you think?
And following that, the Justice League series, the original Justice League series.
When you say the original Batman, I presume you mean Batman the Animated Series from
Batman. Yeah, okay. Batman the Animated Series. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, the one by Filmation in the 1970s that had Batmite in it.
Yeah, baby.
But I mean, without that, I wouldn't be here.
That's true.
That's I like the original Batman, and then Justice League, and then Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah,
I like those. Yeah.
I mean, Superman was pretty good, but I wouldn't put Superman on a level comparable to Batman, the animated series.
But they did have the guts to kill off a main character in the first season.
That's true.
What's his name? The
detective, Dan Turpin. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan Turpin.
Someone said, Elias Cotton talking about being able to just have somebody press a button and it'll spit out a Star Trek episode. Elias Cotton says AI writes Star Trek where the computer is the hero. They could do like
every time
instead of an episode where Kirk talks a computer into killing itself, the computer talks Kirk into killing himself.
Mm-hmm.
Elias also asks, why pay for someone's likeness? Because you have to.
Yeah. That'll be the only thing they risk.
Otherwise, they sue the heck out of you.
Yeah,
they risk a lawsuit.
Yeah. People have likeness rights. People have the right.
You lose money instead of gaining it. And what they want to do is gain money.
Right. So they go to the estate of Humphrey Bogart and they say, we'll pay for his likeness rights for this movie. And they go, okay, great. But if you're a living actor and they say, walk up to Brad Pitt or someone like that, they say, hey, we want to use it. He has to give script approval. There's going to be stuff in place. One of the reasons why the Screen Actors Guild, why they were freaking out about background characters is because the large majority of actors aren't the main stars. We're talking about the people who are in backgrounds. And they were about to get screwed out of their money because now the studios could have a fucking repository of background players to put into their movies without any of those people being able to sue them for it. They basically sign their rights away when they are going to be, playing background filler. they're going to get this right screwed away anyway, because eventually they're going to have a computer that's just going to make up people, and and that'll be it. And if they happen to look like someone, it's going to be coincidental. So,
Yeah, I just no.
But
it certainly isn't going to happen in our lifetimes. I am.
Oh, Dana.
No.
My sweet summer child. You have
That's
no
not going to
idea
happen in our lifetimes.
how greed can manipulate, can drive an industry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Greed and manipulation can drive an industry.
Oh, yeah.
However, they won't be able to create effective performances. People who have shitty cameras will be able to do better jobs with poorly paid, not well-trained actors than AI will be able to produce with millions and perhaps billions of dollars poured into the software and the equipment generating these running these programs through it. No.
Hopefully.
No, not even hopefully. It's going to take so much work to get something that isn't absolute drivel. Given the amount of drivel that we get from like actual human beings, like no, not remotely close. Like AI doesn't, I mean, it just, even when it's mimicking like human motion for like a few seconds, it's so easy to spot. I think we'll get to the point where AI can be used in ads with and we'll be fine with it. Oh, it's at that point now. Honestly, I see AI generated motion stuff like video in ads, and it's it's whatever, it's fine. But for actual story, nope.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind the AI stuff that you, in terms of like AI generated video and stuff like that you see now, like for that actually is used in something commercial, like an ad or a little bit in a movie. Like it has almost certainly, yes, it maybe was generated by AI, but it's been worked over by a human artist. Because when you look like I see people on Twitter lately posting like AI generated videos where like there's a new AI platform. I haven't really looked into it, but where you can give it a static image and it'll turn the image like into a video.
Yeah, it'll move it and stuff. Yeah.
And it's like kind of realistic for about the first 2 seconds, and then it goes completely bonkers.
It just, because that's the way it works. It builds on itself. It's predictive text, and essentially it's predictive video. It's like if we have these pixels, then we get these pixels, and then we get these pixels, and so it logarithmically goes off the rails, and it's fun to watch.
Oh, there's the creepiest one somebody did. I think it's the ones I've seen are all the same poor sad guy who's like super into AI, who's posting all of these clips, and he's like, look at this is awesome, and everybody's just making fun of him because they're all weird and they suck, but he thinks they're really cool. But he took that that picture of Mark Zuckerberg looking through a window that has been kind of a meme, and he made a video of the Mark Zuckerberg looking in the window meme, and it's so creepy because like it starts out Mark Zuckerberg is outside the window looking in, and then the camera angle kind of shifts and Mark Zuckerberg moves to the other side of the frame, and suddenly he crosses over and now he's in the room, like looking out the window instead of outside looking in the window. And it's just the most weird, uncanny. It's like Mark Zuckerberg phased through the wall. And it's like, okay, that's like really super creepy, but it's not, I don't think that's what you're going for.
Set every puppeteer to CGI. There's no way that's going to replace us. Guess what? Every practical effects artist poo-pooed CGI. Not all of them, but a lot of them did. And since there's no way CGI is going to be able to take the place of X or Y or Z, the industry didn't give a shit. It was going to happen anyway. That's my thing. I'm not hopeful for this industry because this industry has always cited money over quality.
Yeah.
Always, every time. And if they can get close enough and enough dumb people will eat it, that's what's going to happen.
I agree with you there. I just don't think they're going to get close enough.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get close enough. unfortunately.
Ghost Wheel sent in a super chat basically making, I think, the same point you're making, Jason. It doesn't have to be creative, it just has to be bankable.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I think, like I said, I think it's going to get to the point where they won't need it. It won't need to be worked over for ads. Like it for brief things, we'll just be like, whatever. But
I mean,
yeah,
my main point is the first time they tried to put Mark Hamill into The Mandalorian, it really didn't work. The second time, Jesus Christ.
Well, because
that was Mark Hamill at 20.
Yeah.
They deep faked it the second time.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is load in all of that stuff of Mark Hamill into a CGI thing, set the, not CGI, but artificial intelligence, set the parameters, and they can create something that looks real. And Mark Hamill didn't have anything to do with it. Right. So you know how much screen time that Kirk has in the 3 years that we have of Star Trek, the original series. You feed that into something and it will be able to, and those actors and those characters and that set and AI with some tweaking would probably be able to produce a season 4 and a season 5 for Star Trek.
I mean, if they want to test it, they should do Voyager first because you couldn't tell the difference anyway.
Saw that coming. I was waiting on that one.
Couple of questions in the chat for Dana. Elias Cotton wants to know, what book is Dana reading?
It's a young adult novel called, a couple of them. I'm reading Writing with Pleasure because I don't like writing, and
that's a porno. Writing with Pleasure.
Not Writing with Pleasure.
Writing Swedish film.
Writing with Pleasure.
Mitt.
Not writing.
With pleasure. Yeah, okay.
So, and then yes, because I don't like writing, and if I liked it, a lot of things would be easier in life. And then
you don't like writing? That explains a lot. Okay. Anyway, yes.
That's why I haven't had any videos up in 6 months, 8 months. I don't know.
Yeah.
And young adult novel called Alone, and it's a novel in verse. I've just started it. So.
Ooh, a novel in verse. So the writer had an idea, was like, I'm going to be pretentious.
I think also, especially for YA, some of it is because it creates flow, like you sort of, and it keeps the story moving. So it's a pace choice as well.
Another question for you, Dana.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Le Guin book?
Oh, The Dispossessed.
Okay, Le Guin.
Yeah, so pretty easy. That's The Dispossessed. I hope it's one of the and if you don't mind, if you'll put it in the description, I've got I think I did.
You did a video about it, and then of course we did our series about it too.
Yeah, we talked about
our
it.
read along, yeah.
So yeah, that's been a definitive one for me. Reading about Shevek, so.
Anarchist propaganda.
Heck yeah.
Very well written.
Yes.
Anarchist propaganda. Yes.
But also just really helped made me think about what it means to own something. And for me, it's the important part of owning isn't like for in our society, ownership is about exclusive access and the right to deny others access to something. But I think the more important part of it effectively is the right to access something. So, that's why I say really the only thing that you need to own is your toothbrush. I don't think that's ever, I don't think we'll ever get to the point where that's going to be something.
What about you? Can't share a toothbrush, really, Dana?
Jeez.
Everyone should have, for hygienic purposes, their own toothbrush, but everyone should have access to their own toothbrush.
What about their internal organs?
That's bodily autonomy, not ownership. Different.
I own my organs. I could sell them if I wanted to. If I walked up to someone and said, I want to sell this kidney, how much can I get for it?
They're not allowed to buy them. That's proprietarian.
In this country.
Everybody has access to their own kidneys. What about what?
Oh, I could just rip one out. What?
What about underwear?
You wash them.
I don't want to wear other people's
But I can
underwear.
I could disinfect my toothbrush. I could stick it in some blue water like they do at the barber shop.
Yeah, like at the barber
With a
shop.
comb,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, put it in there with the combs.
Yeah, the toothbrush bristles are a lot closer than
You swish it around.
what do you call it? Comb prongs? Is it prongs on a comb?
Tines?
Or
The teeth on a comb.
teeth.
Teeth on a comb. Yeah.
What about
Tines, yeah.
tampons?
What about tampons, Dana?
Yeah.
Tampons don't get reused.
Or pads.
Says you.
No, I mean, well, I actually, in fairness, now that they have that, I think I would also say that you can own your own menstrual cups.
Oh yeah, menstrual cup. So you can.
There
I
you
think
go.
I think I would be fine. I mean, they're little, silicone discs, silicone cups. I would be fine with like they used to do with milk bottles. You return it, they get sterilized.
Ew,
you
so
get them
there's
back.
how in an anarchist society, who are you going to get to pay to pick those things up?
Who's
And
going to
then
be the
clean 'em.
milkman in the anarchist society?
Well, what an anarchist society needs are robots. That's what
Hey.
they need.
Very, very nice.
you
But I
go.
mean, essentially, I mean, I wouldn't mind, if there's some sort of, little repository like a what do they call it? A sharps box, except it's, it's a blood box, it's a
Yeah, but
hazardous materials
in an
box.
anarchist society, anyone who wants that job is suspect. I want that job.
I'll do it.
Gross.
And everybody's like,
I'll do it. You're immediately.
The issue isn't I want that job. It's, hey, here's a job that I can do. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort. I can just walk around, pick up these boxes, take them back to the sanitizing factory, and dump them in. They all get sanitized, and pick up the boxes that have
Whoever derives any kind of pleasure or satisfaction from that is a
Yeah.
fucking weirdo.
I feel like
I
that's
think it's
too,
perfectly
yeah.
valid. I don't know, that it doesn't sound like a particularly pleasant job to me. I mean,
No.
depending on the weather, but I mean, as far as satisfaction,
Depending on the
you are providing a much needed service. Good.
That's true.
I do
That's where you
feel
have
like,
to-
I mean,
you approach the box. You have to beat the raccoons away from it. You get the contents out.
No,
Get
it's
Hope the bag
get out of
isn't
here, you
leaking.
critters.
All the listeners like, I thought this was the start.
yeah. If there's
They're
laser,
talking about-
if laser toothbrush where you don't actually
A
have
laser
things that are
toothbrush,
touching, you just have to be really careful to make sure that you got all the way in the back.
What if
Oh,
you get
so
a
Randy-
dentic? How about
Thanks,
a
Randy.
dentic? A
There you
dentic,
go.
like in
Yeah,
Farscape.
something like that.
yeah.
You stick a worm in your mouth and it eats all your stuff,
And it
you
takes
put
care of
back.
it. Yeah. Some Random Geek links to your Dispossessed video in the chat, Dana.
Thank
there
you so
go,
much.
People who want to check it out. Here's a Star Trek question for this Star Trek Hangout. From Travis Coyle. Did you guys do the episode of TNG where Wesley gives everybody the VR headsets where you throw the frisbee into tornadoes?
No.
I don't think did we do
didn't.
that one? I don't
we
think
didn't.
I don't
No,
I
we
think
may
we
have
skipped that one.
mentioned it. But
Yeah.
I don't think
I
we,
have
don't think we
have
did
no
it.
idea. So if we did it, it's one of the ones that I've forgotten.
This
Dana,
where
that-
Wesley runs around the ship with Ashley Judd, and they
Yes.
have to escape people who've been brainwashed by a game that they wear on their face.
And the game, whenever you score a point in the game, it makes you cum in your pants.
That's right.
This is on TV. This was a TV show that they made in
On Star Trek.
1992 on Star
Yeah.
Trek. Yeah, in the
Mhm.
early 90s. It's a video game that you wear on your head and it makes you cum.
Or at least feel like you are. We don't know if they're actually
Those
your
were
orgasm.
O faces. Those were
Oh.
O faces.
And those were the mildest O faces in the world.
Well, I mean,
But
they
if-
want you to keep playing the game.
Look,
Well,
I
but
they don't want
expect
you to-
well, the other thing is
that
they've
Dr.
got the
Crusher
video game
has
on their head,
screaming
right?
orgasm, screaming, crawling, just grasping.
Every
orgasm.
muscle tensing, like
Yeah.
screaming and just
If they
screaming
have the video
profanity.
game on their face, how do you know what their O face looks like?
Oh, because it was just these. It was like a reverse glasses, where
Yeah.
it's just the side parts of your. I don't know what they're called. The side parts of your glasses, and it would
Stems.
like shoot things.
Yeah.
The stems, and it would shoot things
Yeah.
into your like.
Yeah,
lights
so
into
their
your
face
eyes.
is visible from the outside.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay,
Mhm.
okay. So you can see the expression.
Yeah,
Right.
you can see Riker jizzing in his pants. You can see it in his face.
Ugh, don't.
In his
Does he?
face
I'm
or in his
tell-
pants?
Don't.
Well, well, if he's got pants on, so you can't see it unless there's a camera in his pants.
There's a camera in my pants.
I've
with
heard
you
that
guys in
before,
porn?
Will.
I don't know. Ask Steve. He's the one that. Ugh.
What?
He's the one that came up with the fact that they're orgasming. It just can't feel good.
Oh, like I'm not the only one who ever came up with that. Everybody knows that they're coming in their pants when they're playing that game.
yeah, you and
Everybody
perverts.
knows it.
Oh, that episode where everyone's coming in their pants.
The jizzing in your pants episode.
Mm-hmm.
And Wesley, of course, is the only one who doesn't end up jizzing in his pants because he's Wesley.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Because somehow he's dating Ashley Judd.
It's like of all of the episodes of Star Trek ever produced,
The
it's
most
the
unbelievable thing.
It's the
that
most
they've ever
unbelievable
done.
thing that like Ashley Judd, circa age like 20, is super into Wesley Crusher.
Yeah. And
I mean,
he's Wesley
honestly,
Crusher. Hmm?
that anybody would be that into Wesley Crusher. Sorry, Wesley.
Yeah.
Now he
Sorry, Wesley.
winds up in the Traveler unit, whatever the fucking
The
bullshit.
Traveler. Yeah,
Picard.
he becomes a traveler, which is apparently
Yeah.
a job, not just a guy.
Yeah.
They're like, what if it's just like a job? Okay.
Yeah, what if it's like a thing and you just do stuff? Well, how did all the bad stuff happen? I don't know.
I don't fucking know. Shut
I
up.
don't know. I don't know what happened. Why the bad stuff?
It's just
is
a
happening
half-baked
still.
reason to have Will Wheaton show up
Yeah, look how happy he is working
and not
again.
act at all. Let's have Will Wheaton show up and not act at all.
Mm-hmm.
He can just wear whatever clothes he has on when he gets here.
Sounds like a good job to me.
Whatever you do, don't portray Wesley Crusher in any sense.
And I love
Just
how
be
in Picard
yourself.
3, there's not a mention of him once. Not
Yeah.
once. It's like he left with the what's his face, whatever his name was. I don't remember his name. The creepy pederast tetchy fingers space alien guy.
Yeah, the
Like,
Traveler.
come on, Wesley, come
Yeah.
with me. And I was like, okay. And they never mentioned him again. They just he's just gone from that point forward. You're like, okay, what happened to Wesley? Shut up. Who cares? I have a new child to give a shit about.
Yeah, exactly. I have a newer, better son now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. In a fight, who would win?
Well, yeah, I think Even and Wesley has superpowers, and Jack would still beat the shit out of him.
What superpowers does Wesley have other than being able to travel without a
That's
ship?
true. Maybe he could run away. He could run away before Jack lands a good shot. Me No Other says that game was on Lower Decks too. Yeah, so was every other fucking little bullshit detail from TNG.
Somebody hit Steve's angry button.
Every other meaningless little trivial detail from TNG is in Lower Decks because that's what Lower Decks is. Someone said, Air One Fire says, do you intend to visit any more of the movies, TOS movies by time travel or TNG movies by regular travel? Yeah, we've never done anything with the
TNG movies. Yeah,
we've never done anything with the movies. Yeah. I mean, I guess
we mentioned what happened in one of the episodes. We mentioned what happened during the Kirk era movies. We mentioned them offhand.
Very, very offhand.
We may mention offhand what happens in the TNG movies, but who wants to? Jesus, there's only one that's really good, and then the rest of them were just like, ugh.
Although
the rest you were like, what?
The other two.
Is that the technical Star Trek term?
Yeah, that's the name
yeah,
of
exactly.
Star
That's
Trek.
the
Gugh.
that's the official
planet that they're
canon
from.
term.
The planet Gugh.
I'm from the planet Gugh.
Gugh.
And
Here's my friends.
Although if we did want to do something with one of the movies, Travis Coyle has an idea for it. He says Steve and Jason should be on the Defiant when the Enterprise E saves it. That's how Jason freaks out the first contact Vulcans.
okay, that worked.
So we're on the Defiant, and then we end up on the Enterprise, and then we go back in time.
We'd be
And
left
then-
behind. They only gave a shit about Worf, apparently.
That's true.
They literally
We
say,
just- We're just
How's
still
the-
on the Defiant as it's like
"How's the
drifting in
Defiant?
space.
Damaged, but it's serviceable. What about the crew? Who cares? Come on, Worf.
I don't know. I guess they're still alive. Anyway, let's go. Come on. Worf. Travis Coyle says, does the Strange New Worlds episode where the colony they visit said they picked the turn of the century model explain the alternate Earths from TOS? I don't think so, and I don't see why you need to explain those, other than that they're really cool and awesome, and I wish Star Trek did that more often.
All of the alternate Earths?
Well, yeah, where it's like they beam down to the planet and it's like
I know,
Mayberry.
but I mean, did you just say they're awesome?
I love the alternate Earths. I love the idea. I love the idea of it because it makes no sense and it's just completely ridiculous.
Here's the reason why there are alternate Earths in TOS is because they were using existing sets and costumes
Yeah.
from Paramount's backlot.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
And they didn't want to pay for makeup. So it's just another Earth. Why do we need to make anything?
And I
don't.
love it. And I love
Exactly.
it. I love it because it's ridiculous. And the more you explain it, the more you destroy the magic of it.
What
Like,
magic?
it's actually
Magic.
it's goofy. Just let it be goofy. Don't try to make it like, well, there's a really good technical explanation for why it's like this. I push you out a window.
I didn't come up with a technical explanation.
I'm not
I came up
saying
with
you. I'm
a
saying
highly
anybody.
cynical explanation.
Oh, because your explanation is the real explanation,
Which is money.
and that's the only
money.
that's the only explanation necessary is that they had a budget for the show, so they had to save money, so they filmed stuff on backlots and used existing costumes. That's the
As
explanation.
one does.
Yeah.
Yeah. How come every planet they go to, there's only about 3 people on it that we ever see? Money.
Exactly. There's we're told it's a planet with a population of 2 billion, but we only have it's
We
apparently
only meet 4.
the entire planet is run by these 2 guys here. They make every decision.
Yep.
I
I would like Star Trek to progress out of shit on your face aliens. That's what I would like to see. We get to a point where aliens are like Alien, but that costs money.
I don't mind that, but I also and I've said this in my own in my videos before. I like the idea of, they go to a planet and the aliens look exactly like humans and nobody says anything about it. It's not like a big deal. They're just like, oh, they live here. They're not humans. They look.
And I want to see
mentions
an
it.
episode where the main characters from another planet are like glowing starfish in an aquarium.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
So which is it, Steve? You're
Well,
confusing me.
Why not do both?
Well, yeah, that's just it. There's more than I think. I know I've forgotten a lot, but I'm pretty sure I've seen more than one kind of alien in Star Trek.
Yes.
Sure.
Well, and that's what I like about Strange New Worlds is that they do serious episodes and then they do utterly fucking ridiculous episodes. And they're not trying to just
Like
be
the
one thing.
where they're all singing.
Or the one where, or the annual Wacky Spock episode,
Sure.
which are among my favorite episodes the show has done so far. Both Wacky Spock episodes have been excellent.
Yep.
And I hope they do. I hope they keep doing more. I hope they do one every year.
Oh boy, can't wait
until Paramount
for
cancels
another
them.
year before another season of Strange New Worlds comes out.
Well, they were delayed because of the strike. If not for the writer's strike,
everyone's blaming the strike. Get the word.
If not for the strike, they probably would have had the season out by now.
You assholes! You didn't tear down the Star Trek set.
Make my entertainment, you assholes.
Get on board the
Also,
USS Star Trek and make it.
You have to wait for the AI, Jason.
That's
That's the
The
biggest
A-
danger. Because I literally picture that subscription services will be like Paramount, Warner Brothers, and you get to pay a certain amount of money, and what you get to do is you could type in what you want, and then it'll make a movie based on what you want. And if you don't like it, you can edit it. They're like, I want bigger tits on everybody, all the men too. I want men with tits, and you type that in, and it makes that movie for you. And you have there's exclusive studio things that you can have in it. Like only Paramount has all the props and characters from Star Trek. You can't get that from the Warner Brothers one, who has all the props and characters from DC.
right.
Right? Marvel is gonna have all the oh god. Disney's gonna have all the Marvel characters and all of their characters and all of the Star Wars characters, so you could really fucking make whatever psychotic bullshit you want to make, and you can just because you're paying $12 a month.
Jedi in the MCU.
Yeah, and
That's gonna be the first thing that comes out.
Oh, and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'll believe in AI that AI has crossed that border when we've got Jedi in the MCU.
Sure,
There you go. There you go. Mino Other points out Discovery tried that with Aliens people did not like. Well, yeah, but fuck what people like.
Well, yeah, but the whole point of what we were talking was it's driven by money, and if not enough people like it, it's not going to make money.
They
Right.
had the I mean they did the species 10C in Discovery, which was like which I mean a lot of that I really liked, but you could also tell like, oh, somebody saw Arrival. Because like it was very similar to when, especially when they actually met the aliens and had to figure out how to communicate with them and stuff. I'm like, oh, somebody watched Arrival. Okay, I mean it's a great movie. If you're going to rip off if you're going to rip off a sci-fi movie for Star Trek, that's a
Might as
great one
well.
to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then I forget their name, but the aliens on that were like in charge of the Kelpians on Saru's planet, that were like the evil aliens, and they had a
Yeah.
really cool character design, and didn't look, they like, it wasn't just, you know, humans with stuff glued
Sure.
on their face. I really like those. So I mean, but if people did, there's a lot of people that didn't like a lot of things about Discovery for really stupid reasons. So fuck
Yeah,
'em.
like
Who gives a
me.
shit? Well, no, I feel like your reasons are more reasonable than just, you know, like, oh, I don't
Whatever.
like the way the ship looks. Shut the fuck up. You know? Oh, the uniforms, the technology's not right. Shut the fuck up, nerd.
Oh,
Just start
Steve.
calling him Wesley. They love that.
The view screen's a window, not a screen. Shut the fuck up. That's what that's how I respond to them.
Okay.
The view screen's a window, not a screen. Fuck you. You fucking
have it
nerd.
actually have that reversed.
What?
Traditionally, the view screen is a view screen, not a window.
Well, but I'm saying in Discovery, the view screen is a window that has a view screen like sort of overlaid on top of it.
Yeah, but they didn't have that back then.
Well, no, but they exactly. That's what people. Man, why are Captain Pike's quarters so big? Kirk's quarters weren't that big. Shut the fuck up.
Poor Steve.
Such a sad man.
I know. Look at him
Because
getting all
I'm not
upset.
because I'm angry about people pissing on the show, not because I'm
you're
angry about the show.
other people. You're angry
Fuck
about the
them.
opinions of other people.
Because they're the kind of people that if you listen to them, they're the kind of people.
Did you
that
hear him
ruin everything.
just wrangle a whole bunch of people into one group?
Fuck them.
How very SS of you.
Fuck. Damn.
Just rounding people up and sticking them in their groups.
Yep.
You're all those people.
Those
People, huh, Steve?
Those kinds of people.
Those kinds of people.
There was another guy who believed people should be rounded up in groups and disposed of. What happened to him?
If people listen to me very carefully. It has been the right of every nerd since the 1920s to dislike something and complain about it loudly.
They have every right to do it.
That's right.
I'm not saying they should be arrested.
That's what he's doing. He dislikes something and is complaining
yeah.
about it loudly.
That's
I'm not
true.
saying-
That is
He's
what
a nerd.
he's an
Yeah.
uber nerd. If you think
I'm
about
not saying they should be punished. I'm saying they should be ignored.
it.
He's not saying they should be punished. He's just saying they should be silent. Or, you
They
know,
should, well,
silence.
that's hoping for too much. I'm just saying people who actually make the shows should stop paying any attention to what they want or giving a shit about them at all. Ghost Reel says a Schindler's List joke? No, a Holocaust joke. It's different. A Hitler joke, a Nazi joke.
That's
It's not the same. It's different. It's more general. There's a couple more questions I saw here.
Here's my
Yeah, go ahead.
Schindler's List joke. You ready?
Oh,
You
boy.
ready? Get ready for everyone to leave this fucking broadcast.
Oh boy.
What's that smell? That's
Oh
it.
my
There's my joke.
My fucking God.
There's my joke. Utilize it however you want. There you go. You happy? You drag that out of me.
Here's a couple more Star Trek questions.
Is there anyone left? I don't know.
Everybody, oh wow, the concurrent viewers number just cratered all of a sudden. Weird. No, Sci-Fi Brony says that about the idea of doing Ensign's logs based on the Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
Sci-Fi Brony says Steve left some bullshit on the Enterprise D, and that's why it gets his ass kicked and gets blown up in Generations. And then Air One Fire says, "Don't you want to see Steve try to sleep with the Borg Queen?" And that's the reason all the Borg die. I mean,
That's the reason all the Borg die.
I mean, but here's the thing. Like, I do think some of those, it's a funny idea, but like, I actually like the fact that after a certain point in our show, we got away from like sort of Forrest
The
Gumping
Borg.
through. Well, no, I mean,
Yeah.
no, well, yeah, but no, and like we got away from Forrest Gumping through Star Trek because we've done some of that in the Ensign's Log, like with Edith Keeler, where it's like, oh, we were the ones driving the truck, right? So it's not like we've never done that, but we have gotten away from that in more recent seasons, and I'm grateful for that. I feel like the show, I don't want it to just be, Jason and Steve and Dana. Actually, it turns out they're the reason why this happened in this episode,
But Steve, you love Forrest Gump. It's your favoriteest movie.
What
are you doing?
I'm humming the Forrest Gump theme.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's sure. Fuck it.
Okay.
It's supposed to be anyway.
Okay. I believe you.
Me No Other says, just tell the nerds Kirk ripped out all of Pike's cool space and made the Enterprise rooms cramped and less pretty.
That's right.
Or I can just tell him to shut the fuck up.
Just will you stop?
I'll tell him something apparently they don't know. It's a TV show.
You don't look at these things as a challenge. You're just like, oh God, now what?
No,
like,
I look at shut the fuck up. It's a TV. Watch your TV show, nerd.
Not as a challenge to try to explain something, but just like,
not for stuff like that. No, not when I know that it's because it's a show and like I just know. Like,
and they're trying to make money.
That's right.
All comes back to the money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but someone said, "Oh, when did the live stream go off the rails?" And someone else answered, "There were rails."
When
was it on rails? Yeah.
Where are the rails?
I think around 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, as soon as we went live. Fraserx 01. That's such a hard name to pronounce. Fraserx 01. Jason, do the glowing starfish aliens yourself on Deep Space Nine on the Ensign's Logs. There's something that came through the wormhole.
That's one of the nice things that we can do on the show is we can just make up any shit we want. And,
we don't need a budget.
We're not getting paid by Paramount. We don't have a budget. We don't have to sit down and make a bunch of glowing starfish aliens to film it. We can just come up with whatever we want. That's what we can come up with. We have no idea what the actual Poncho's Happy Bottom Riding Club is. I'm glad we're using it because it's unofficial Trek lore.
So, Jason,
yeah.
Speaking of budget, have you seen and what we're able to do because we don't have to worry about budget as much? Have you seen Stardust?
Yes, I've seen Stardust. Why?
Well, did you know that Neil Gaiman visited the set while they were in production?
No, I didn't. Which set? DS9?
No, Stardust.
Oh, Stardust. Okay, yeah.
And he walked by where they were building like dozens of highly trained carpenters and prop masters and such. And he goes, he writes that he felt guilty and a little bit concerned because all he had to do was write flying pirate ship.
Yeah, that's all he had to do was write flying pirate ship.
Now it's like millions of dollars later.
If we wanted to put it in the show that Steve just suddenly started throwing up huge amounts of spaghetti everywhere.
Oh yeah,
we can do it.
Steve,
it's canon.
You're throwing up spaghetti again.
Yeah, I just have to go, and Jason's like, "Stop throwing up spaghetti, Steve," and it's happening.
A squelching sound effect for it, and that's it.
A little bit of splat here and there.
Squish, squish. Oh, I'm sorry about all the spaghetti on the floor.
But we don't because we do have some rails when it comes to the show, and so we're not going to go completely berserk.
Just mostly berserk.
I mean, the whole conceit of the show is that this is something that's going on in the background of the shows that you watched.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't necessarily know anything about it. So if I can cross-pollinate, or I can pick up something that's happened, or that Steve found what's the baseball card episode where Noggin?
In the cards.
Yeah, in the cards.
Yeah, with the Willie Mays card, which I'm sure is worth even more money now.
Oh, sure. Including its own. Well, that's a different episode with its bubblegum scent. That's
Oh yeah, that's the
the
data,
collector
the
episode.
collector
That's the data
episode.
episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is that it's a big playground. It gives us enough room to create stuff. But we can't get too far away or it stops feeling like Star Trek. So, you
Right.
know,
We can't have Wookiees show up.
that would be great.
As much as I would love that. As much as I would
Oh,
love to just
fucking-
to,
oh look,
to
here
just-
comes He-Man. When
to
did he
just-
get on board the DS9?
Well, no, that's the thing. You mention it like it's completely normal.
No. Oh, there's
It's
He-Man
like-
and Darth Vader. Here he
There's
goes.
there's
What's up?
Skeletor. Skeletor's visiting from Eternia. Oh yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet. You know, like it's the most normal thing in the
There you
world.
go.
Ghost Wheel says, so no Tina Steve hookup.
No, there's never going to be a Tina
I-
and Steve hookup.
I
No.
feel like Tina would have to hit
No.
rock bottom for that to happen. Like I don't think that will ever
let's
happen.
see. Jason would have to die, and Tina would have to get hit in the head with a brick before she'd even consider ever. 'Cause
Or like-
remember, we
yeah.
have established Tina does not like Steve very much,
No.
What do you mean by very much?
or at all. She has stopped bad mouthing him all the time because
Because
Steve is
she
her
loves
husband.
Jason
That's
that
right.
much.
yeah. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, you know.
I mean, maybe if we did like a personality swap episode or something, or like she was possessed by an alien. But I mean,
Or
like,
I thought
no.
you were going to go where,
Steve
there was
and
a
I
personality
did-
slot between Steve and Jason.
Steve and Jason
Oh.
switched bodies for
Yeah,
you know.
and then Steve.
I think
yeah.
Tina would be celibate at that point.
I think Tina would be like, I'm going to be in, lock myself in this room, sort this out.
Fix
That's
it.
it. Yeah, fix
She
it.
would
now.
she would just jump ahead in the timeline until it was fixed.
When
And
it's
that's-
fixed.
she'd be like,
like, I'm
so I had
We
my-
need
my
to work that
work
in
was just
into the
really
show
crazy.
where
I can't be in that
I'm
space.
fast
with you.
forwarding past all of this.
Tina walks in and Steve and Jason are doing something so fucking weird. She's like, I'm going to time travel ahead a few weeks. You guys work this
I'm
out,
skipping this.
okay?
Figure it
I'm
out.
skipping all of this.
I'm skipping this whole thing. I don't want to know why you're naked in a bathtub together, but I'm.
Sci-Fi Brony says Tina would have to get turned into an iguana again. So is Steve going to have sex with the iguana? Well, how is that going to
Almost-
work?
It almost happened.
Well,
She
I
was
had sex.
kidding.
I had sex with a dolphin.
I know.
Like I did. It didn't. That I did have sex with a dolphin.
You did, yeah, you did. You got drunk and you had sex with the dolphin.
Yeah, it was drunk. It was a drunken hookup.
It
but
was
still,
a drunk disease. It was the drunk disease. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Sure,
our
keep
last
telling
episode,
yourself that.
we're just gonna have a big orgy of the three characters.
Yeah.
It'll be like the ending of It. Mm.
Oh boy. Yeah,
It's like,
I did-
really? You were high on cocaine when you came up with that ending.
I didn't
Steven.
see
What the
that in the
fuck?
movie.
Thank God.
Yeah. They beat me to it. Oh,
Just imagine how disappointed Stephen King leaves the theater and he's like, "Oh man, they cut that out again. They cut it out
I'm
on TV
surprised
and now
he-
they cut it out on the movie."
He was so high on coke, I doubt he remembers half of what he wrote.
Does
That
he
fucking,
even know? Yeah,
That
I
thing
don't
is
think
a
he even
goddamn
knows he wrote
Bible.
it.
Yeah.
He gets a check for residuals every month, and he's like, "What is it? What is this?"
What is it?
what is? Yeah. What do they keep referring to? They keep using just this like, oh, you
Like,
wrote it. I'm like,
it's
okay,
one of
I
your-
wrote a lot of things. What are you talking about?
It's one of your most popular works. It's been adapted for films and TV shows multiple times.
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm. It's big enough and thick enough that the hardback edition of it could easily kill a pet if you dropped it on them. The it
What?
that has more words in it than the Bible. That it.
Huh.
That was the book where he said everything has a backstory. Everyone has a backstory. And it's like, stop. please.
Here's every
Please
idea
stop.
I ever had. I wrote it down.
And when you think about it, it's like there's a killer clown. Oh, okay. That lives in a town. All right. That's actually the embodiment of a space evil.
And he's from space.
Okay.
Like,
And he's from
oh,
space.
Okay. Sure, Steve.
All right. Thanks, Steven. Just let us make money off it now, okay? I would love.
Let us make
I
money
would.
off it now.
I would. One of the things I would love is if you got other people to write, just like when Quentin Tarantino said, "I want to make one of the Star Trek movies,"
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, but only if he writes it, only if he
Yeah.
wrote it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Because otherwise, yeah.
I want to know what weird monologues he would come up with for the characters to say.
What weird, like, pop culture infused conversation would Captain Kirk and Dr. McCoy have in
Right,
like
exactly.
while in a shuttlecraft on the way somewhere, like in a Tarantino Star Trek movie?
Exactly. But I would love it if there were other writers that would love to. I'd love to see what Stephen King would do if he had to write an episode of any of the Star Trek series.
Oh sure.
Like even one, right? They come up with fucked up shit, and like we said, David Lynch. Everything takes place. David Lynch doing Star Trek. Everything takes place in the holodeck. I
would love, just give them carte blanche. Say, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like don't
rename the characters.
Yeah,
do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, here, take this. This is your episode or your movie or whatever. Do whatever you want, and it will be canon.
But the one we'll wind up with is, Christopher Columbus is Chris Columbus is directing and wrote this one. I'm like, oh god.
Oh, good. So it's the most boring thing imaginable.
Done messed up. Like, get interesting people, the Wachowskis. Get them to do work.
Yeah, exactly. No Ron Howard.
Get Darren Aronofsky or get Cuarón. What's his name?
Oh, Alfonso Cuarón.
Alfonso Cuarón. Get him to do one.
Yeah.
Right?
Or fucking I can't think of his name now.
Del Toro.
Del Toro. Yes, Del Toro. Can you imagine if Guillermo del Toro did a fucking Star Trek movie?
I wanted Del Toro to do Star Wars, and he was on for it.
He was shortlisted.
I was so mad. I was so disappointed.
Well, things fall through.
Yeah,
things fall through. Del Toro dropped. That's why he didn't do The Hobbit.
Yeah, he was supposed to do. The
was
Hobbit,
like, you need to make 3 movies, and you need to stretch. You need to make this meatloaf last. For
he was
3
like,
movies.
He's like, 3 movies out of a book that's like 30 pages long. Are you fucking kidding me?
300 pages long, but yeah, it's like there's not enough, and they had to add on all this bullshit, and that's when he said, "Fuck it, I'm out." I would love to see.
And he was right.
He was right.
I'll just go do a stop motion Pinocchio movie that will break your heart instead.
Oh my god, into 1,000,000 goddamn pieces while you're watching it. You're like, oh no. What have I got myself into?
So good.
I actually like that Pinocchio more than Walt Disney's Pinocchio, which was my favorite Disney. But that one,
Del Toro's Pinocchio is so fucking good.
It is. Christina hasn't seen it.
I haven't. I wanted to go see it in theaters.
You should see it.
It's on Netflix. It's on
Netflix. It's on Netflix. You should check it out.
I'll probably watch it over the summer then.
After you watch Jaws. I can't believe I'm friends with you.
I will probably watch Jaws within the year.
You think so?
I'm going to make her watch it. I told her the next time, because we occasionally when we both have time, one of the things we do on weekends, if we can, get away from other things, is watch movies together over like a Zoom.
You don't have a podcast tomorrow, do you?
No. Jason, you want to watch Jaws tomorrow?
Yeah, you want the 3 of us get together and
the 3 of us can watch Jaws tomorrow?
Sure.
So much
there
fun.
You go.
Yeah,
we can do that. I mean, I'm
unless Dana starts making fun of it and breaks our hearts. We're like, oh no.
Well, we made fun of it when we did it for the show. I mean,
that's true. We did.
I mean, it's not like, it is a great movie, but it's not like sacrosanct. It's don't you make any Jaws jokes.
I don't think any movie with me is sacrosanct.
No, there's no sacrosanct movie.
One of the classes that I might be teaching in the fall is an elective. So we've all proposed. All the English teachers had the opportunity to propose elective courses, and mine, one of the ones that I proposed was monstrous literature. And so we'll be looking at different kinds of monsters. Let me see. I pulled some books from the library to look through for material. This one has a couple of really good stories, and then I'm probably going to ask for copies of the graphic novel of the first season of The Walking Dead. So a couple
Yeah.
things like that.
How about Victor Hugo? How about The Hunchback, Notre Dame?
Probably not.
No.
So essentially,
Okay.
well, because the Hunchback is like a character. What I'm looking for are types of monsters. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So
Well, I mean, he's technically a monster. I mean, he was turned into a monster by Universal.
yeah.
But in
So I'll have vampires, zombies, shifters in general, you know, obviously with focus on werewolves, but the what I want to do with Jaws is look at sort of like the monster like also, you know, how far do we stretch it? Because that's why Jaws got a PG rating, is that one of the producers, you know, stood before the MPAA and said, well, there's not actually any violence in it.
Jaws is R. Jaws is a hard R. In the opening of that movie is a naked woman, and we go up from the bottom right to her exposed vagina. It's a hard R.
when it came out in theaters, look at the poster. Look at the poster.
I might have been re-edited, but no, that's a really good.
Yes, absolutely.
You might change your mind for 1974, 75.
Remember, PG-13 wasn't out yet.
No.
And
you know what? Yeah, according to IMDb, Jaws is PG. Yeah, she's right.
Is it really?
She's right.
I looked this up because I knew I'd heard about it. And so the argument was that there was no, this is the way that this creature is. This is a force of nature. And so there's no malevolence behind it. It's not a mass murderer. It's not some sort of demon. There's nothing like that.
He's not like a creepy freak masturbating while he's killing people. It's a shark eating people.
So what
it's just a shark doing what a shark does, yeah.
Which of course it's not.
What a shark does.
It's not, but which, you know, create lots of, you know, I want to have that discussion, you know, does this qualify as a monster or not? What do we mean when we say monster? We're also going to be looking at Jekyll and Hyde and
the shark. Yeah.
The Dorian Gray.
Sure.
So, you know,
I would say
human as monster as well.
Shark qualifies as a monster just as the white whale qualifies as a monster for Moby Dick. Moby Dick is a force of nature. Mm-hmm. The person that has the vendetta against the shark is actually the monster, Ahab, who gets led astray. So in Moby Dick, you could argue Moby Dick's not doing things because he's got a grudge against Ahab. Mm-hmm. He's got a grudge against humanity because he's portrayed as this giant white whale that has like harpoons and netting and all this garbage on his back. And he ain't dead at the end of that book. He kills everybody. He kills except for Ishmael. He kills everyone, sinks the ship. He just wrecks shop and then swims away with Ahab's corpse on his back. So you could technically say he is a monster, but it's more about what he represents in the book. And what Moby Dick represents in the book is multi-tiered.
Yeah, I typically don't hear Moby Dick proposed as a monster.
No, but I mean, he very much is. I mean, he's an unkillable white whale that just fucking murders everybody. I mean, on their way to go kill Moby Dick, they meet another boat where they're like, he killed everyone. He killed the captain's son. He's like, and they're like, don't go that way. And they're like, fuck you. Thanks for letting us know. We're going to kill the white whale. And then the white whale just fucking kills Starbuck, kills Ahab, kills Queequeg, kills everybody, and sinks the ship. And the only real the reason Ishmael stays alive is because he's clinging to that fucking coffin that Queequeg had made that he never got a chance to use because the fucking whale killed him before he had a chance. So I think you can go either way, but you're right. You never hear him mentioned as a monster. You hear him, he's more of a force of nature.
Yeah.
He's not a MacGuffin because boy, oh boy, when he's around, you know, they're building. And then when he's finally there, he's large and in charge.
Yeah,
because he's a whale, but
you know,
he's large.
It's a shame that they never made a Universal monster movie out of Moby Dick, because you know who would have been the perfect director for it.
Shut up! Shut your mouth! Don't even say the joke. I already heard it. Be quiet. Don't say it. Don't
Todd
say
Browning.
the joke, Steve.
Todd Browning. What? Todd
Up
Browning.
yours. Up yours. Stop it. Only a film nerd's got what joke that he was trying to get to.
Oh, you people knew what I was alluding to. See.
Yeah, probably.
Then I double crossed him.
I can't wait 200 years from now where people are going to be discussing Star Trek like this.
Well, and they can talk about Moby Dick at the same time. Because because whenever a Star Trek character quotes something from literature, if they're not quoting Shakespeare, they're quoting Moby Dick.
Moby Dick, yeah, because he did it twice. Because Picard quoted it, and then Khan quoted him.
Khan quoted it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Except they never attributed because in First Contact, Picard literally says, "Oh, that's from Moby Dick. Get it, stupids out in the audience? I was quoting Moby Dick."
But yeah, Khan doesn't.
I missed that second part of the line. The get it, stupids out in the audience.
He looks right into the camera and says, "It's for Moby Dick, morons."
He literally
get it, stupids out in the audience.
He does a Norman, what's his face, Mr. Roper, and turns to the audience.
Yes.
Get it, stupids.
The best part of Three's Company. The best part of Three's Company. Because he was the only one who got to do it. He would always do a fucking fourth wall break, turn to the camera.
That was his. He got to do that.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, Furley never got to do it. Once the Ropers left, there was no more fourth wall breakage on the show. Roper.
But here's the thing: what Khan was doing, he was paraphrasing.
Yes.
And putting in space words into it.
He was adding Star Trek stuff to it.
He was
Yeah,
adding
the
space
moons
words
of Nibia, the Antares Maelstrom. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's just basically you lifted that directly out of Moby Dick, and you put it in. You put that in. You changed some words around, and you did it. You put it.
It's
in
an illusion.
Yeah. Yeah. And he also says the old Klingon proverb, "Revenge is a dish best served cold," which I love.
And he's like, "How do you even know what Klingons are, you weirdo?"
Well, that's it. But I love.
We woke you up, and then we dumped you on a planet. Where did you find out about Klingons?
That's a Nick Meyer joke, though, because you remember in Star Trek VI, he also had Spock say, "There's an old Vulcan proverb: only Nixon could go to China."
Yes, that's right. Okay. Any other questions?
Any other final questions that people have? Oh, Me No Other says, "What about Jaws 2 and 3? What?
Oh God! Exactly. What? The great thing about Jaws. The great thing about Jaws, the only teenagers that are in it are at the very beginning, and one of them gets chewed up by a great big shark. And then we don't have another teenager in it again.
I would
say the problem
say
with Jaws 2 is nothing but goddamn teenagers that you can't stand. You hope
I
the
would
shark
say
eats every single one of them.
If the three of us get together and watch Jaws together, we're not going to watch Jaws 2 and 3 because me and Jason want Dana to like Jaws. We're not going to show her Jaws 2.
We don't want her to find out what happened to Jaws.
The nice thing about Jaws is that there were no sequels to it ever made ever.
The end. That's it.
The end.
There isn't some sort of weird vendetta between the Brody family and a shark.
This time it's personal.
There's a shark that's finding the Brodies whenever they get in the water. It's like, oh boy, a Brody's in the water, and they're gonna go kill them.
Okay, here's a couple of Ensign's Log related questions to close out with.
Sure.
Daniel Crone says, "So about the podcast, is it just me, or has Steve's character gotten dumber and less sympathetic over time?" He has gotten
dumber and less sympathetic over time.
I think he has.
I'm not entirely sure. Here's the thing. Here's the other possibility that he's been a similar level the whole time, and you've just gotten more tired of it as the show has gone on. Your tolerance for Steve's nonsense has dropped. You're like, oh.
There have been more times lately where I have felt that he's coming across unsympathetic, like not just coming across as like a dipshit that we're supposed to laugh at, but like he's actually acting in a way that makes him unlikable.
Sure.
And I'm not like, I don't have a problem with that. I'm perfectly fine because I don't think he's not to the point where like I don't think people are choosing not to listen to the show because of Steve. You know, like if it was a sort of thing where his character had become so unlikable that he was ruining the show, then okay, that's a problem. But I don't think he's anywhere close to that point. I think it's every once in a while he's so selfish and so, you know, self-interested and sort of insensitive to other people that I think he comes across as unlikable.
Steve is when the stakes are low, he's incredibly selfish.
Yeah.
But he comes through in clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Jason and Dana got
to.
kidnapped by the Orion Syndicate, he took it upon himself to find them. Right?
Yeah.
If Steve was horrible and beyond saving, he never would have done. If he was that selfish, he wouldn't have done that. And
yeah,
that's the bottom line with Steve. Because in the end, Steve will do the right thing.
He does really. Go ahead.
That's what people are going to continue to listen to the podcast for. It's like, as unlikable as Steve is, okay, so how are they going to make us not hate him?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
when's he going to get his due?
His saving grace is that he genuinely loves Jason and Dana.
Yeah.
And even though there are times when he's bullshit,
a complete ass.
Yeah, his own bullshit, you know, enables him to, you know, mistreat them in certain ways or to take them for granted. But yeah, he genuinely loves
here's
them.
The thing: you don't directly try to mistreat us.
No. Oh no, I'm not like I'm never like cruel to you or anything. I'm just insensitive. Or I put myself before you when I should.
If anything,
you're an ass.
If anything, you try to couch your when you're being self-surging, you try to couch it as something good for the other two. You try to couch it as something that's beneficial to all of us.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that it's clearly something that only benefits you.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, okay, well, that's great.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why I love frustrated Steve more than anything in the world.
Because he deserves it.
Because that's the real world that we've created, kind of popping his bubbles. Like when he came back to the Enterprise, no one wanted to talk to him.
Nobody likes him. Nobody likes him.
And that is the real world.
Yeah, because nobody likes me either.
Oh God. That's because he keeps screaming and running away when people say hi.
Oh, you push over one disabled veteran and all of a sudden you're public enemy number one. Air One Fire asks, will you be doing every episode of DS9 from now on?
Yes.
So no more skipping shows.
Nope. No more skipping shows. We want to do every single episode. So now here my dog's freaking out for no reason because wants to ruin the show. There's something. Probably the turkeys are back. I don't know.
The turkeys are back.
The turkeys are back. And they're out for blood.
Okay, some random geek has a really good one. We'll make this the last question unless somebody comes up with a really good one before we end up wrapping up the show.
Okay.
Some random geek says, which Steve is dumber, Steve in Steve and Stuffy or Steve in Ensign's Log?
Steve and Stuffy.
Well, but see, I think Steve in Ensign's Log is dumber more consistently. Steve in the Stuffy and Friends videos is as dumb as he needs to be for that particular joke at that particular time. And if he needs to be smart, he can be smart. But I feel like Steve in Ensign's Log is more consistent. Like if Steve in Ensign's Log all of a sudden was like super competent and a genius, I don't.
Steve isn't dumb on the show. Steve is willfully ignorant. There's a difference. Steve has been he's in Starfleet, which means he's gone through Starfleet Academy. He's been exposed
he regularly reminds everyone.
Yes, I'm a Starfleet Academy graduate. Yes,
he has been given stats, figures. He's done tons of stuff in order for him to become an officer, granted an ensign. So he had to graduate from Starfleet Academy before he could receive his commission. Right. But he chooses to ignore most of it, almost all of it.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. He's not dumb. He's willfully ignorant.
He's
The reason
ignorant.
why the reason why he can't fly his shuttlecraft. He can't he can't operate the comm system or computer. He if it's one button, he's got it, but the rest of he considers it a waste of his time. Exactly. It's a waste of his time. So that's why I argue that the Steve on your Steve and Stuffy videos is dumber because he's just dumb.
That's true. That is a good argument. Yeah, there are times when Steve in the Stuffy videos is just a complete moron, and there's no explanation for it other than, oh, I guess he's just really dumb.
People are gonna literally watch me kill that dog right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Lily, there is no way I'm letting you out to kill those goddamn turkeys.
But please.
It's against California law. I can't do it.
Can't she just kill one turkey?
No. We passed a law sometime, like I think in the 80s or the 90s in California. You can't kill wild turkeys, and they've just gone bonkers. They become like pigeons in suburban areas where they're just everywhere. And they're huge. They're gigantic birds. It's like saying, okay, everyone has to deal with dinosaurs on a regular basis, and we're outside. I'm gonna kill the dog. I'm gonna kill him. So no one else asked a question, right?
No, we're good.
I'm seeing good nights.
Yes,
so
we're seeing people are telling you that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Next weekend, we're going to record the first episode of next season. If you're a $10 patron and you want to be in an episode, I already know one person who is chomping at the bit, and believe me, we're gonna get it. Then please go to Patreon and send me a message saying I want to be in this season, and we will create a character for it. And if you want to be a recurring character, then that makes an appearance every year. Let me know that too, so we can create a recurring character. And that way you could be on the show, whether you're a Bajoran, whether you're a Ferengi, whether you're a Cardassian. I don't know who in the world would want to be a Cardassian, but go for it.
The bad guys are the funnest ones to play.
Absolutely.
True.
Yeah.
That's true. So, and thanks guys for the
or maybe you could be like one of Steve, the planet Steve's from, and you can be a dumbassian.
He's from Earth.
I'm from Earth, Dana. I'm a human being.
He's the only human on the show.
That's I'm the only like full-blooded human. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so racist.
Yeah, I know. You can't help.
I know it's really you would think that by this point we would have gotten past our petty prejudices, but
no. But you keep on having to remind me and Dana that we're half breeds.
So ignorant. So ignorant.
It's something only a full human would really understand.
I think
only a fool.
What we need to incorporate in Steve is that even with the aliens with the shit on their face, Steve just assumes they're human. He's not looking.
They're just like people. They're just humans, right?
They're just like humans, right? No, humans are from Earth. Can't you see the squiggly shit above their nose? That's different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You're from Bajor.
Talk about like making him dumber and dumber. He's like, no, Steve, they have, you see the spots all over their faces? Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought they were just kind of sick.
Okay. We're done.
They had measles.
We're done.
All right.
We're done.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for listening to the show.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.